What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Geek Mense. Shoot the shit. I am here to
Yeah.
fly the beach. Oh my gosh. This is episode 7?
Seven, Kato. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
We,
All right. So, man, episode 7. I gotta say, this has been a lot of fun for me, man. I
yeah, me
really love
too.
doing these episodes.
Look, especially in the times of COVID, not having people to talk about all this nerd things to. My wife is tired of hearing me talk. Even my kids are tired of me coming in and saying, "Hey, you see this character?"
Are they not getting excited? Oh my gosh. If you were my dad, I'd be so hyped.
No. They do, but like sometimes my references are over their heads sometimes.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know, like and
Yeah,
it's cool to gauge because of the new generation, like where they pull their source references and ideas from. I think even with us to a certain degree, like a lot
no,
of
I'm
my
I'm getting
reference,
old.
yeah,
I'm getting old now. Like my references are not hitting anymore.
yeah. Oh, by the way, got my first jab. I wasn't sick or anything like that.
Oh, you
I,
don't have
I,
superpowers yet.
no. I think I've become a beacon, a 5G transmitter.
You'll always have Wi-Fi. Never be
Always have
disconnected.
Wi-Fi. Funny enough, it feels like my Wi-Fi has been working faster since myself and my wife got our shots.
Well, I'm gonna go get it then. If for nothing else, South African, so that we can have better connection. Because you know
Better
our connection
connection.
stories here
Yeah.
are nonsense. All right, man. Okay, so we got to talk about it. Everybody, this is going to be spoiler talks. All the stuff we're talking about is spoilers. Well, I mean, really, we're only going to be talking Suicide Squad spoilers. So anything after that will not be spoilerish. But just in case you haven't watched it, in case you haven't seen it, spoilers up top. Okay? I don't
If
want
you
anybody
haven't seen
complaining.
it, go see it. Go see it and then come back and listen from this point on. Put the marker in the in the video. Spoilers galore, but recommendation, redemption for DC EU. Go see the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. All right, man. So let's get to it. So I went and saw the movie in theaters. It was the first time I've been back in theaters since the beginning of 2020. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
like I haven't been in the theaters for a year now. That is crazy to
Dude,
me. Actually, now that I think about it.
I streamed it from Max, from HBO, but
Oh,
I had to use a VPN. But yeah,
oh, okay, okay. No,
yeah,
I mean, like I wanted to me and my brother we just wanted to get out the house and I was like, yeah, what let's go see Suicide Squad.
yeah.
And we were the only people in the theater. Like we literally did a movie commentary between the two of us while we were in the theater by ourselves.
But that's crazy. I think maybe in the next week or two, I'll probably go and see it in theaters again because they look like that. That's the one downside with streaming platforms and what COVID has done. Evident with the whole Scarlett Johansson debacle as well is that the theaters aren't getting as much. Walk-ins and things as they used to, and so the actors are actually suffering their rebates and their remunerations and their
Mm.
kickbacks on coming in the way they
Yeah,
should.
yeah, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah,
Although, like, just to talk about that quickly, I'm on ScarJo's side only for the simple fact that Disney has been doing stuff like this for a long time.
yeah,
Like, we love their movies, we love their stuff, but they've been, and if they're doing this to like big name actors, imagine like the concept artists and the
yeah.
set designers and the people who don't have a voice or a following. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. Like from high up, we're doing some stuff with obviously the Quasi project that I'm working on, and one of the bits of advice that we got from quite a high up showrunner, or someone who creates shows and pitches and deals with these people. One of our bits of advice was like, don't deal with Disney because Disney will take your property and cut you out of it. And then they'll own your stuff and they'll fill their pockets with your content, with your IP. I'm not going to get kind of controversial, but I'm just putting that 2 cents in
Hey,
there.
I mean,
I'm going
well,
to do
we've
the
seen it.
Kermit
You
thing.
saw
I'm going
what
to
they
put the
did to
Kermit
Fox.
thing.
we saw what they yeah, I mean, we saw what they did to Fox. So like
Yeah.
they mugged Fox. Like Disney was a gangster on the street, and they just said, "Give me your wallet, Fox."
Yo,
Like
the
that's what.
House of Mouse, dude. The House of Mouse.
Like you remember that meme with Thanos where he has like the gauntlet and then it's the Mickey Mouse face and then you
Yeah.
just see all of the media houses.
Inside of it. Ah, every
I
time.
mean, I love Disney, but they are a corporate entity, and corporate entities do stuff all the
Yeah.
time. Anyway, enough
Let's
about
before we
Disney.
as we get into Suicide Squad, actually, the two topics that we're talking on kind of do controversy around shows. So I'm so glad that James Gunn came on onto Suicide Squad. Remember, there was a big controversy with him. With I don't know if you know about this with
Oh yeah.
Marvel. So
Yeah.
he got fired from Marvel for tweets that he sent out, and he is one of those characters. Like I'm not going to defend some of the things that he said, and that's all been sorted out, and we're not going to go too deep into that. But he said some weird stuff, and I think it's just this weird sense of humor.
Yeah. I'll wait
And
for you to finish.
yeah, and it's this weird sense of humor, but it did actually create this topsy-turvy set of circumstances to send him over to Warner Brothers, to do the DCEU stuff. But now he's sorted out stuff at Marvel, and so he's going back again. And I think it's just what we needed. I think it's just what Suicide needed.
Yeah, no, hey, James Gunn won big time with that situation.
Oh yeah,
Like, because the thing is that, for one, they brought up those tweets when he was doing the first Guardians and he
yeah,
apologized, and everybody accepted that apology. One. Two, the dude who brought them up was not a great dude himself. Like, he was racist, he was misogynistic,
yeah,
he was a bunch of things, and nobody seemed to talk about that. And then the other thing is that James Gunn's tweets were not aimed at anybody in particular. They were just weird in their own space by
yeah.
themselves.
I
They
know.
were weird, but
I know
like,
one of the tweets I remembered, and like if you were just chatting to, I'm not offending them. If you were just chatting to your friends, you'd be like, haha, that's kind of funny, and move on with your life. But because
yeah,
he tweeted it, I think he went to a hotel or something, and he said like, the water pressure in the shower is so terrible, it's like a 3-year-old peeing on my head.
yeah.
And then
Like,
like, like it's kind of iffy,
no, but
but
I mean, when you look at his movies outside of the Guardians of the Galaxy, though, that is the kind of joke he would make. Because
exactly.
if we come to Suicide Squad, like the stuff they're doing in Suicide Squad was just all right. Well, anyway, big
Sorry,
up to James Gunn.
Sorry if I'm squirmy.
I hope you're watching this.
My seat has been a problem. It's not comfortable. It keeps sliding down.
Uh, oh man, you must get yourself a nice plastic one, very old school from
Maybe,
the church.
maybe.
But yeah, getting into Suicide Squad, man. Yeah, I enjoyed this movie a lot. My brother's not a big fan of comic book movies, so
Okay.
he found this movie to be very weird. Like he's more anime manga esque and all
I
of that
see.
stuff, and video games. So like, I mean, he's kind of into comic books, but he's more on the manga side
Manga
of
side,
things.
yeah.
So his review of the movie was it was super weird to him. He didn't understand what was happening.
So I'll tell you what. Like I appreciate people like that who are purists. Funny, I was like talking the other day. It's like the same thing with music. I was talking to my wife about that kind of concept that you get when people are overly purist on certain subjects, you cut yourself out from other enjoyments in life. If you like only a manga enthusiast and manga is the only thing you want to draw, you lose out. If you just want to be a mangaka, you lose out on other places of interest or things that could actually like spark an interest or give you enjoyment. It's the same like music. If you're a metalhead, I only listen to metal, black metal, dark metal. That's all I listen to. And you don't open yourself to listen to other genres. Like I've come to the sensibility now, like I'll consume anything. And if I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. And I'll try not to. I'll be. I'm an equal opportunist asshole. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I hate everything on the same level, you know. So I try
Mhm.
not to put bias into my decision. Like if something, if I don't like the story writing in some, or the dialogue in something, or the way it's written, or things like that. Like if you're an anime enthusiast, you watch certain things, and if the dialogue is bad, you kind of give it. It's probably better in the original language, in Cantonese or Japanese or Mandarin or whatever. And so you kind of you give it the scope to breathe in. It's the same like comic book movies. It's hokey, it's campy, it's weird. We give it credit because it's a superhero type of theme. But if it's done intentionally, like this movie was, then you can actually tell that the writing was good. It's intentionally that kind of hokey. It's intentionally that kind of humor. It's got those beats intentionally to fit those kind of themes. But to each his own. I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's put the DCEU back on the map. It's it's sort of a reboot sequel, if you want to call it that way.
Well, I mean, reports. James Gunn reported that what's this? DC hasn't dropped the DCEU label,
Yeah,
so it's either it's a soft. I think most likely scenario is that it's a soft
yeah,
reboot, kind of what they do in comic books, like a
yes,
retcon. Like, they've had some stuff that they carry over from the old books, but then there's other stuff that they change completely.
yeah,
So I think we still needed the 2016 movie in order for this movie to have the impact that it's had. Because we still have to see how the box office does, because it's probably going to crush on streaming.
yeah,
But like, what's this? Yeah, because I mean, the 2016 movie did the heavy lifting of, okay, this is Amanda Waller. Okay, this is what she does.
yeah.
Okay, they put the bombs in. Although they just kind of replaced Deadshot with Bloodsport because it's the same character. Not really,
I'm
not
gonna get,
really.
yeah, but I was gonna actually get into that. Like, there's certain things I can tell, but we'll get into that. I just wanted to touch on this for a second. Like, you mentioned that yes, it is a soft reboot, and that's what I meant. They don't deny that the previous scenario happened. They even link it in a way, like with Harley and Boomerang, Captain Boomerang, sort of recognizing each other and being like, "Yo, good to see you again," you know. But then there's elements that are, or layers that are added on top of it. There are assumptions that are made also, and I can see your point with your brother, where certain things aren't really explained, like Blackgate Prison. I don't think they ever call it Blackgate even.
No, I think it was Belle Reeve.
Oh,
They called
Belle
it
Reeve.
Belle
Sorry,
Reeve.
I meant Belle Reeve. But did they actually call it that in the movie?
Yeah, because remember how Amanda Waller uses Bloodsport's daughter and says that she's going to be sentenced here to Belle Reeve.
Okay, okay. I get you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I mean that they didn't spend a lot of time on the prison,
Yes. But
but
what I'm
like
saying is, it's like, so as a comic book nerd, you kind of know, oh, that's where they keep superpowered villains. You
yeah,
know, they don't explain why all these superpowered people are in one place. They don't really explain Task Force X and who Waller is again. They don't go into all of that. They do it well through exposition. But if you hadn't seen the first movie, would this movie has made as much sense? And was it the this whole Justice League and Snyder Cut scenario that happened, that the original version of Justice League was so bad that when the Snyder Cut come in, we just like, oh, that's so amazing. But was it really that amazing, or was it just better than the
I think this
predecessor?
movie is good. I think this movie is good.
Yeah.
Like without the 2016 one, I think the 2016 one enhances it
Yes.
if you know what's going on. But I still think on its own, solid as a story about, okay, there's these people, because you got to think about it like Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
type vibes. I mean, same director, but Guardians of the Galaxy did not have any backstory to them when they came on the
Exactly.
scene. They were just a team that had to do a thing, and they had to work together
Yeah.
and basically gel together. So I mean, if you look at that, I mean, this team hinges itself on Amanda Waller sending them out to do the things that they're
Yeah.
doing. So at least it has more of a solid base
Yeah.
than Guardians of the Galaxy. but I mean, unlike Guardians of the Galaxy, because Guardians of the Galaxy was built in a universe that was way more stable, they could pull that off much better here. I think what James Gunn did here was pretty amazing, given the mess that the
Yeah,
DCEU is kind of in. Because let's face it, DC, we don't know what's going on. We have
yeah.
no idea. There's reboots, Flashpoint is coming, Batfleck is back, and Robert Battinson.
Yeah.
He's in the mix somewhere, and then there's negotiations of who's the why am I forgetting the name? The guy who played J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, Simmons,
Yeah, J.K. Simmons.
J.K.
Yeah,
Simmons. Yeah.
J.K. Simmons apparently is back in negotiations to be Jim Gordon
Mm,
in the Batgirl series. But now we've got Jim Gordon, who's also in the Battinson
yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Gary
So it's just
Oldman. Gary
yeah.
Oldman. Yeah.
Not Gary Oldman. Sorry. What's his name? He's Black Jim Gordon in the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson.
The dude from Westworld. Yes, I don't know his
Yeah.
name off the top of my head. Yes.
Ah. Anyway, him.
Yeah.
They'll tell us in the comment section, or they'll yell at us in the comment section, one
Yeah.
or the other.
Yeah.
But
What you don't know. But what you were saying about James Gunn, and that this is what he has a knack for doing, and Taika Waititi, because I've got a feeling like he had something to do with some of the scripting, or at least touch ups or punch ups or whatever. Because he does feature in this.
yeah, I was
um,
surprised to see him.
yeah, it was good to see him. But the exposition isn't just dumped on you. Exposition, they kind of get exposition to flow naturally into storytelling elements, and all the characters aren't immediately, even though it's a stereotypical, they kind of do it, but it's done in a more natural way. Interaction with other characters tell you more about characters. It breeds vulnerability. There's a lot of allegories and metaphors in this as well that you can interpret about characters, so you can tell their psyche becomes unraveled. It's like you start off with the blonde dude like they already start with they start the whole story with uh uh what do you call it, not a false narrative, uh what's the word I'm looking for,
A
a
misdirection, a red herring.
misdirection. They kind of started with a misdirection in a way, with the subversion. You start
Yeah,
off with the dude sitting and getting his sunlight, you know, and sitting in the sun, but still being incarcerated is symbolic of freedom. And then a bird flies in, and he's sitting there, and you think he's going to enjoy and look at the bird and enjoy its freedom, but he takes its freedom away with the ball and kills it. Some symbolizing also when he actually gets his freedom and his moment, like on the scene, and he sees the chaos that's erupting around him. He tries to run and he gets his head blown up.
that was sad, man. Amanda Waller is horrible.
Yeah,
Jeez, the wall.
the
They call her the
wall.
wall for a
That's the
reason.
comic book
Oh my
name. Yeah, the
god.
wall.
No,
But
Amanda Waller was like, turn around or I'm gonna blow your head off. Turn
and
around,
yeah,
turn around.
and even like when they're setting up the stakes in the story, just to show you how expendable these characters actually are. The team behind them are literally betting on the characters. What better exposition is that? Than like they're like, okay, take bets on this guy. This guy's a munitions expert. This guy's a weapons expert. You know?
And let's actually get into the. I'll get into some stuff that I didn't like. Not that I didn't enjoy, but it did feel stereotypical for me.
Yeah.
I'll get into that a little bit later. But let's actually get into some of the surprises.
Oh,
So
one thing, sorry, that you were saying about Bloodsport and Deadshot.
yeah,
You can tell that the script was originally, or in my opinion, was originally written for that cast. Because
yeah.
obviously Holly wasn't taken out and Flag wasn't taken out, so they were kept in the story. Um, Bloodsport could have easily been replaced with Deadshot because it just needed to be a marksman, a guy who could shoot, and a guy who reluctantly has to take the leadership role. Same like the Will Smith character in the previous movie. Um, the anthropomorphic killing machine, Nawe or King Shark. King Shark could have been Killer Croc very easily.
Yeah.
Um, Holly's in there. Captain Boomerang kind of circles around like a boomerang. But yeah, he's not quite as featured. And then the additional characters, the Ratcatcher, they could have just been exchangeable characters, but the main characters that needed to exist.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I think like they could have, if they wanted to. Well, maybe they're down the line. Although I still think they shouldn't have. Like this will be a little bit controversial for me, but I didn't like the casting of Deadshot, Will Smith as Deadshot,
yeah.
simply because there was the character called Black Spider, who he
Oh
could have
yeah,
been. He was also originally a black character, so I wanted that character to get a little bit more shine.
yeah.
And
But
but yeah, but anyway,
Black
we're here now.
Spider's like such a D-lister.
Yeah, but I mean, most of these guys are D-listers. King
Yo,
Shark is a
Polkadot
D-lister.
Man. Initially in the comic books, he was called Mr. Polkadot. You know, like taking a character that probably I think he only appeared like twice or thrice in comics, like to give him such a compelling story and actually make you care about him. Like the way they justify his powers and stuff, they actually did a really good job with him as well,
Yeah,
I think.
that's what
And
I'm
his
saying though. Is that
psychosis.
for me, they could have done something like that with Black Spider because
Yeah,
he's been featured in the Suicide Squad a lot,
yeah,
and he's supposedly like one of Batman's equals in hand-to-hand combat.
yeah,
So like he's supposed to be like Batman if Batman was a mercenary type of thing.
yeah.
Yeah, so I thought they would have spent some more. But anyway, getting into this new one because the surprises for me was Boomerang doesn't make it.
Yeah,
I was shocked that Boomerang doesn't. I thought he was going to be around a little bit longer, but he.
yeah, the thing is, I think like in the newer comics or in the New 52 universe, the original Boomerang does die, and then a new character takes over the Boomerang mantle. But he has the Speed Force.
Okay,
So if you check out
that's
the
what.
new game, the trailer of the new game,
Yeah. Oh,
the the Suicide Squad game,
yeah.
um, because now is there, or King Shark is there, Harley's there, Boomerang, but that's Boomerang too. So he's actually got these. He's infused with the speed, and I think they kind of eluded that. Like either his boomerangs at some kind of speed force. That's why they could come back because they glow when he throws them in this one.
Mm. I'm just saying. I just didn't expect him to die so early.
I think that was a executive and a writers to make the stakes higher, like what they did in Game of Thrones. Kill off your favorite characters to show that no one is safe. Like
Well,
literally,
I mean, they
literally,
can't say that though because like Game of Thrones, because I saw George R. R. Martin, his
yeah,
favorite character was Tyrion Lannister,
yeah,
and Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones, he survives things that he should not survive.
true,
So he
true.
kind of broke his own rules, and they also do that in this movie because Harley Quinn survives things that she should not survive.
But I think, yeah, but Harley Quinn is like, I swear, like the vat of acid that her and Joker, or the bath that they had, it must have made them like meta humans in some kind of way. They never explain it in the comic books. I have my own head canon about that stuff. But yeah,
Maybe. But I'm just saying, like in this movie, when everybody's getting hit by the bullets, she'll be running through the warfield and all the bullets will be going around her.
around her. Yo, it's because she's crazy. She moves in unpredictable
I'm
things.
just saying,
Like
I think for me, like that whole anybody is expendable, like you by the time you get to the middle act,
yeah,
you know who's expendable and who's not expendable.
yeah,
So I'm just like, yeah, okay. But I mean, again, you have to have a movie, and they
yeah,
did kill a sufficient amount of people
yeah.
where I was just like, all right, yeah,
The body
that's a
count, the
movie.
civilian body count in this. But I think
Uh,
they did a good job, or Gunn did a good job of making characters that you would normally not root for, that you would root against, and that their motivations, like they don't actually lose any of their motivations. They don't get, I suppose at the very end, they don't really grow a massive conscience. It's a mission. But
No, I mean, I would say that they do, but I would say it's consistent with the character because,
yeah,
like Deadshot, Bloodsport has a soft spot for women.
yeah. Well,
So, like,
for people that represent his daughter.
no, I think it's for women because, like, what's this? When Flag says they gotta go save Harley Quinn, Bloodsport, who would most likely be like, no, we're not doing that. He's
Yeah,
like, okay, let's go save her.
yeah.
Or when Ratcatcher is like, what's this? Like, even in the scene with him and Peacemaker, if you notice, it's a subtle story beat where he doesn't kill a woman in that scene. Peacemaker kills all the women in that scene.
I didn't notice that. Okay, okay, okay. That's
Like,
a
everybody that Bloodsport kills is a man.
but
So it's like,
Bloodsport in the comics he's got a weird backstory. The second Bloodsport was a racist. After he kills, they literally get put in prison together, like these two guys, and they have to fight.
yeah.
And Bloodsport fights this other dude, this Aryan race guy, and the guy kills Bloodsport and then takes on the blood. So for a while, Bloodsport was like a neo-Nazi racist dude.
I'm glad they went with original
And
Bloodsport.
he took over the moniker specifically because the original Bloodsport Dubois was a black guy. So like
uh,
so there's a weird, like, I thought that there could have been an interesting backstory to that as well. And like Bloodsport's actual backstory is it's like he wants to be this bad. He's kind of got the same backstory like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII,
oh, okay.
where he wants to act the hero and do all these dope things and whatever, but he actually became a vigilante who has anti-American sentiment or anti-government sentiment because he hates the Vietnam War and the war that people were sent to the slaughter to because he went through all the suffering in the war and stuff like that, and he comes back and no one has respect for him. Can't he? He never went to the war. He was a deserter. His brother signed up in his place taking on his thing, and his brother got like blown up. His brother lost his arms and legs, and his psychosis made him go crazy to think that he was like his own brother. Sort of like the Walking Dead thing as well. So he's got this weird
That's pretty.
psychosis to it as well.
That's
Yeah.
pretty. That's pretty interesting. If
I
they
know
give
that.
that back, if they give that backstory to, because I mean, they could.
Yeah.
He could, like they could give that backstory to, because I feel like Idris Elba is going to be like a favorite. Like, they can
Yeah.
easily, if they did what they did with Harley Quinn, I feel like they could also do that with Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Although the only thing was is that for me, I kind of felt sad because a lot of people casted him as the Green Lantern.
Hmm.
What I'm forgetting the
John
character's name
Stewart.
now. John Stewart. There we go. Yeah, they wanted him as John Stewart, which,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he would have done fine anyway. But, who knows?
Yeah.
He's
But I
still
think if they
pretty.
do bring in a Green Lantern character, it'd have to be a young character. I
Oh,
I
okay.
I want to see Kyle Rayner as a Green Lantern character.
Oh, because you and him are artists.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. And he's my favorite one. Remember, like this dude at one point was more powerful than Hal Jordan. Even when
yeah,
Hal,
yeah.
even when Hal Jordan was Parallax, and the Spectre. I think it's just after Hal became. He transitioned from being Parallax to being the Spectre. But Kyle Rayner became Ion. He had all the power in the universe. He basically had all the Green Lantern power in one ring when the whole corps was slain by Hal Jordan. Imagine like a legacy series like that. Like
Well,
Cal
I mean, they'd have to, that would take some time to set up. But I mean, we're gonna get to the future of DCEU because
yeah.
I think we
Oh,
could
we'll get
possibly
there.
see
But
something like that.
so
So
what
let's also talk about like, what's this? Just some of how some stuff was like a little bit unnecessary for me. Like, I think the whole country politics thing, that was kind of like, it was there to serve the plot, but they
yeah,
tried to make it more important than I think it was. It should have just been like there to just be serviceable because it
yeah.
doesn't take the foreground for it doesn't take the foreground at all. Like, those presidents are interchangeable. You could have
But I
literally
think
had
I
a man.
think I think that was the point. The point
Mm,
is that this went back to the dude who puts the chips in their head in this movie.
Yeah.
He's the original artist for, or the artist for the modern Suicide Squad comics, the ones that came out in the 80s.
Oh.
John Ostrander, I think is his name.
Oh.
Ostrander. So
That's a cool Easter egg.
he's the original artist, and James Gunn actually said that like he wanted to like return home, a return to form for the type of things the Suicide Squad would be set up for. So when Ostrander was writing Suicide Squad in the 80s, he would write stories like that. That's why it's like what's it called, motifs, or they'll go into these fictionalized Argentinian or Cuba, these type of South American or whatever countries where, or African countries where there's dictatorships and things, and then the Suicide Squad would be sent there on what would seem like one mission, but then you turn out that it's actually to cover up something else, and then that's just what how the story of it. So it would always start off as a basic spec ops kind of mission with a cast of people that are expendable, because as you know in the comic books, um, 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 villains and things die left, right, and center in the Suicide Squad books. They betray each other, they kill each other, they only have their own interests at the end of it. And here and there, they come together because they have mutual end goals and stuff. But it was a return to that. That's why the country's politics and all that shit that was happening in the background of that wasn't actually really important. It was just a setting for this to happen. It was a place. It was something that's so sort of cliche. You have the dictator ruler that rules a place because they have anti-American sentiment, and so it would make sense. Oh, the Americans are sending you out to destabilize the government so that the people can take over. Kanti, that wasn't the real reason.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Also, let's talk about somebody that was a big surprise to me. Usually you can't see him, but I saw him very clearly in this movie. John Cena. that was that was a big surprise to me.
Yeah,
And the fact that they made him like a legitimate villain.
yeah,
Like he's a like all of these guys are villainous, but like he's a legitimate villain in this. I was actually surprised by how villainous and how because he got scary to me towards the end.
yeah. At the
Like
end,
he wasn't really scary in the beginning, but towards the end he got pretty scary.
yeah.
So I was just like, oh, okay,
But
okay,
I
that
think that's the genius again of Gunn's writing. He takes because he actually set up two almost exactly the same, and they literally pull your focus to that. That Dubois or Bloodsport and Peacemaker are practically the same character. And he's like, you really like Bloodsport. Look how dope he is with all his stuff. And Peacemaker's like the same dude. Um, I like that with certain characters they went into the psychosis and the minds and the brokenness of the characters. But other characters they left it out, like Peacemaker as well. Like I don't know if you know Peacemaker from the comics either.
nah, man. First time I'm seeing him.
Peacemaker is also cuckoo bananas. Like literally that line that he says is, "I will suck as many dicks on this beach for peace. I will kill
Yeah,
for peace." He literally
yeah.
believes that, and he calls his helmet the beacon of freedom. In the comic books, it's a bit more complicated. Everyone he's killed for liberty, he feels that their ghosts speak to him, and their ghosts are with sustained within his helmet, and they give him
Oh,
advice on missions and stuff like that. So
oh.
so apparently he's getting his own series. That's what that whole.
Yeah, the end credit scene.
But maybe they go more into that and whatever. But yeah, he's basically he's cuckoo. He's like
Yeah,
he's not
like
always a bad
that
guy.
that line of his, that line of his where he was like, "I will kill women, I'll kill all men, women, and children for peace," and everybody's like, "Wait, what?"
I thought you were the crazy one.
No, he was a big shock to me. Like it would be interesting because in the WWE, John Cena is known as the baby face of baby faces. Like
Yeah,
he's just been a face for so long that people now hate him for it.
yeah,
So and then The Rock was somebody that people really loved in the WWE, but in movies they're kind of getting tired of him. So
yeah,
I was it was interesting in my head that I'll be like, imagine if people start loving John Cena for movies and
yeah.
hating The Rock for movies. That would just be
Flip the
that would be
script,
really
and they had a
interesting.
big rivalry in WWE. Eh? They were
Yeah, yeah,
rivals
yeah.
for the longest time, The Rock and John
Yeah,
Cena.
apparently like they had real issues. Like it wasn't scripted. Some of it was like actually real
Oh, for
legitimate
real?
problems.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting to hear. But like, but he is scary because he made that bright red shirt with the shiny helmet. He made it intimidating. It's like those bulging veins on his arms. Like he looked like a legit. Oh, like you see this guy
And
coming.
when he gets like speaking of another surprise kill, when he gets Rick Flag, I didn't see that coming.
Yo, right, right. With a tile, with a
Uh,
tile.
if I was Rick, I would have let it go. Like,
Yeah, and they literally like go in to show you, nah, like this isn't like a subversion or stuff. They literally show Rick's heart being like pierced, like they X-ray in and like show him, like they just killed Rick Flag.
I felt bad, but also Rick
And I
Flag was
liked
kind
him
of
in this
dumb.
one. I liked him way more in this one. He actually had personality and character compared to the
No,
last
but I was
one.
like the other thing to me was that Rick was kind of dumb in the sense that what's this? Like, if he was planning to do that, I would have probably like planned to shoot Peacemaker in the back or something during the
Yeah,
mission or something like that. Like the whole thing of him having this righteous indignation where he was like, we can't keep cleaning up these messes." I'm like, you work for Amanda Waller,
yeah.
like like the fact that he's surprised that
And
Amanda Waller did what he did, or that the American government did what they were doing in there. I was just like, dude, should you really be surprised?
I get it that he shouldn't be surprised, but I think like his intention for doing that is because he's a purist for his country. You know what I mean? And like this
Yeah.
are the overall. So his blissful naivety, to me, it kind of made sense. I didn't.
Well, I mean, the contradictory point to that would be is like when he introduces Weasel, he's like, Weasel is harmless, but I mean, he's killed 27 children, but he's agreed to do this. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. It also to
Amanda
do,
Waller
also to do with
has recruited pretty much monsters.
yeah.
So I mean, for you to get outraged because they're experimenting on children now, I
Yeah.
mean, you should have. I mean, like in the first one, I think in the pre, I don't know if like I guess it counts retcon, but in the first one, Amanda Waller, he's assigned to Amanda Waller, I think for the first time. Like he doesn't know who she is. So when he starts, like, I think so. Like I think they haven't been together long enough.
I can't
So
remember, but yeah, he is assigned to be the handler, yeah, to be the Suicide
yeah.
Squad or the
So
Task
when
Force
she
X
does the
handler.
things that she does in that movie, and then he starts getting scared, like there I understood it more.
Yeah.
But like here, it feels like he's been with her for a long time. They go on that Suicide Squad mission on the first time, and man, poor Pete Davidson and Nathan
Oh,
Fillion.
yeah.
Man, I was sad. Nathan Fillion is my guy, man. I was so sad to see what they did with
You
him
know
in
that
here.
character's name? Well, what did they call him? It is comic
The
accurate.
detachable kid.
The detachable kid. In the comic books, his name was Arm Fall Off Boy.
Yeah.
He tried to join the Teen Titans at one point, or the Justice League at one point, and they denied him entry.
Of
Arm
course.
Arm Fall Off Boy.
No, but I'm like in the comic books he's worse. At least in this one he can control them from a distance.
Yeah,
But
but
like
but
in
his
the
arms,
comic books
they give you this moment where they make him look all cool, and the arm just go up, and it's like.
uh, and I was like, oh man, he's dead. Uh and the way they take him out, man, it was so man, that was hard
I
to
think the
watch.
reason was exactly for that. It's like that's how the government works. That's how the war works. How Waller works. It's like that first set that we were sent to follow. They were literally fodder. They were lambs to the slaughter. That was their whole mission was just a distraction to get the forces to that side of the island so that the real Task Force X could get onto the island easier. So they literally sacrifice their own people for
Yeah, except for Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is
and Rick Flag.
well, I mean, Rick Flag eventually gets sacrificed.
Yeah.
Also, another one that I was sad, as you said, Polkadot Man, because
Yo.
I expected Polkadot Man to die early. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I expected him to get taken out very early,
Yeah.
only for him to get to the end. He's probably one of the most effective. and he's way more effective than Harley Quinn. Like if I look at Polka Dot Man's contribution to the battle, like tactically speaking, he's legitimately like somebody that can change the landscape. Like
Yes.
Harley Quinn doesn't really do anything tactically speaking towards the end other than show the rats where to get in. Because that's the other thing also in the movie.
Yeah.
Ratcatcher kind of saves everybody.
Yeah. They call it the ratism. I was listening to some commentary, the raptism, when
Yeah,
everyone gets covered by the rats and stuff, they're being baptized by rats.
yeah.
Um,
No, I mean,
so
like, yeah, because also her and Bloodsport,
yeah,
like their chemistry in the movie was pretty good
yeah,
as well. I mean, again, I did really like Harley Quinn in this. I really did, but I was just like, if we're looking at who was way more effective, because that was also a trope. My brother was sitting right next to me, and as he saw that scene with Polka Dot Man, as he saw that scene with Polka Dot Man, he was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna die, isn't
but
he?"
but what we're doing is we're thinking about people. See, that's the thing. Like, I think of all of these people belonging in like Arkham. That's my first point of view. Like,
Yeah.
everyone has mental issues, you know, and it's those issues. It's not the level of their powers or their abilities or their strengths, or what they can do that defines them. It's their, I say that somebody said, their psychosis that defines them in this. It's um, 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 Bloodsport pushes his daughter away because she doesn't want her yet. He doesn't want her close to him because he thinks he's like his own father. So he's kind of doing similar. He's giving her the own kind of same kind of neglect that his father, except his father did it on a way higher level, and he only overcomes that by interacting with someone like Ratcatcher 2. Ratcatcher 2 is grieving the loss of a loving parental figure, even though she knows how to grow up with nothing. She sleeps all the time because of wanting to to live a more comfortable life. She probably dreams more comfortable dreams than it's easier to be sleeping than it is awake in a way, you know. And she's actually fine interacting with people, you know.
Mm.
King Shark doesn't belong. He doesn't have friends. They show that early on, so he doesn't know how to interact and play with others very well. He also happens to be cannibalistic and want to eat people because he doesn't fit. And then you've got someone like Polkadot Man. Polkadot Man is a broken version of Victor Stone, basically. Think about this. He's a broken version of Cyborg. He would make, in a way, a perfect Cyborg villain because him and Cyborg are actually technically the same. His mother experimented on him, giving him this polka dot disease to make him more powerful. Victor Stone's dad did the same thing to him to save his life, fine and well. But after he saved his life and fused him with the mother box, or in the comics it's a father box, um, he's there to be studied, he's there to be observed, he's there to be tracked and to see his motion. Are you interested in me as a child or as an experiment? And the same thing is going for Polka Dot Man. And you can see how the hatred for his mother makes him awkward and useless and uncomfortable. Like, I think there's a scene, and I didn't notice it at first, and then I was like, oh shit. Like, just as it was passing, was when he's in the club and he's looking happy and he's dancing with people on the dance floor.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that in the theater, so maybe it was
Everybody's his
like
mother.
recent.
They're all
Yeah,
his mother. So it plays into like that's what makes him awkward. It's not the strength of his abilities. Remember, to him, what he has, his polka dots, is like a cancer to him. If he holds it in too long, it makes him sick. He has to throw it up or purge it in order to go on a bit more. And this is all caused by his mother. So he's not seeing it as a gift, he's seeing it more as a curse. And I think that's what makes him villainous. It's those psychoses. The thing with Harley Quinn is that she takes nothing seriously. And her reaction to circumstances, like this dude wants to marry her, makes her into a princess, she loves it, and just because she's falling for him and she sees one red flag, she kills him. And
yeah.
she basically
Well, it was
feels
a big red flag. It was a big one.
exactly. But he doesn't kill him because of what he's throwing. He's just killing him. It's like, yeah, I don't want my boyfriend to be like this, so you die. I've made a
Yeah.
decision, and that's her craziness. It's like, even if you look at Harley Quinn scenes, they are, in my opinion, they referenced a lot of movies showing her sort of scenes. When she comes in there in the red dress and the people are lined up, that's like from Evita. Don't cry for me, Argentina. And she literally has that scene, the moment of like Pretty Lady, where the rich guy is whining and dining you, and then she goes badass after she shoots him, and they literally do equilibrium. That's why when you were
Yeah.
saying she can dodge bullets, I was like, yo, there's a scene where she does gun katas and stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean that scene was awesome to me. I just didn't
Yeah,
know when she became such a proficient hand-to-hand combatant. And
but
then also the other thing is like, what's this? The other thing was like, guys, like I quit. Like after she's killed like the 30th dude, if I'm dude 31, I'm
yeah,
out. Like it's fine. I don't understand why guys keep coming. Like it's the thing with Batman. Like one thing I appreciated with the Arkham games is that sometimes like the thugs start running away,
yeah.
like it's one of the funniest things to me. Or like or if you played like Ghost of Tsushima, like if you play Ghost of Tsushima and you're the samurai dude and you go through the camp, like sometimes the dudes will start turning around and running away
But that's
because
one of the games I haven't played. I've heard that it's really good, but yeah, it's that kind of thing. I suppose that people would be afraid or scared of her, but she's got that kind of reputation, I suppose. So they have to make her badass, even though she doesn't have. They did a weird science thing in this movie as well. Like one of the worst parts of the movie, Signs, that I didn't like. I don't know if you remember M Night Shyamalan's Signs movie
what
with
oh
Mel
no, I haven't
Gibson.
seen that one. I haven't seen that one. I
It
saw six.
when
What 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 part? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, in Signs, when Mel Gibson's wife is dying, right? She gets hit by a car and pinned to a tree. She tells
Yeah,
Mel Gibson, "Tell my brother to swing the bat," right? Or to
yeah.
keep swinging or something like that. The whole movie goes on. Aliens attacked and things like that. Her brother's an ex-baseball player. Aliens attack their house, and then she's like, "Swing the bat." So
Oh,
they kind of did that moment as like, "Take the javelin." She's like, "What the hell does
oh,
it?" you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That
then
one was pretty cool, and it saved her a couple. I thought it had some other abilities. I didn't know it was just a javelin.
just the javelin, and like the cool, like yeah, again they show her. They actually show two people's psychoses, like or they show Polkadot Man or Mr. Polkadot Man. They show him seeing everyone as his mother, so he hates them, so it gives him the ability to kill, right? Because he wants to kill his mother. And then with Harley Quinn, they they give her the whole
Yeah.
cartoon flower treatment. When she's running
Oh,
through
the
and starting
flowers.
to kill people, when she starts to get in her element, you actually get to see how things play out in her head, in her imagination. You've got little animated bunnies and birds dancing and singing and flowers shooting out at everybody.
Yeah, no, that was actually a pretty cool scene though.
Yeah,
I did enjoy that scene. I just think towards the end battle, like that came down to Polkadot Man, Bloodsport, and Ratcatcher. Like if she wasn't there, I think they could have still taken down the fact that they took down Bizarro, not Bizarro, Starro.
Starro.
The fact that they took down Starro was pretty cool and pretty insane.
Yeah.
Even though people were like, "That's a typical ending to a comic book movie because it's just destruction for destruction's sakes." Oh, I felt bad for Starro though. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie,
But
because
that's
Starro was just chilling in space.
but that's the cool thing that they did with this thing that's like this big Jaeger, like this big giant monster. He was just a dumb. He's just an animal in a way. At the end of the day, like he's got no intentions. He was sort of just protecting himself, and to get messed up like that for just wanting to live and being trapped for 30 years and experimented on. Love that the thinker. Oh, here's the other weird thing that I found. It's like the thinker is a Doctor Who character, and the dude that Harley Quinn was supposedly supposed to marry. Didn't he look like a Doctor Who actor as well?
Yeah,
but it's not. But yeah, it looked like
I'll well, I mean, they did cross over in the books at some stage. I think I can't remember. I
yeah.
think Doctor Who and Batman or something, or it might be a fan. I'm not sure. Anyway,
I
it's
can't
DC.
remember. But
So
yeah, the
I know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossed over with Batman.
yes,
So
yes, yes, yes.
who knows?
Yeah, but
Yeah, no, yeah, the action in this was also top tier. I loved a lot of the action scenes
yeah.
in this. Again, like that was one of the grittiest fight scenes with what's this with Peacemaker and Rick Flag. I thought Peacemaker was a super soldier at some stage. The way he was tossing Rick Flag around.
Yeah, but no, but he is a super soldier. He's been trained at hand-to-hand combat. He can fight. It's
No,
just
I'm
he's
thinking Captain America. Like I
yeah,
thought Captain America
but that's what he
because
is. He's an asshole version of Captain America within the DC universe.
mm, yeah, no, I thought like yeah, I'm gonna say this again though. This is the best DC movie
Yeah.
that I've seen, and I am. But like now the thing becomes: are they gonna keep going the R-rated route? Are they going to? Let's actually start talking about. Is there anything else that you got to say about the movie?
Just one thing I wanted to add again. Why I like James Gunn writing shows. Um, and two things I actually want to touch on that you didn't mention. One, you were saying Polkadot Man is so could have handled this by himself, but it's Polkadot Man's fault everything happened. He threw his polka dots at enemies and blew up the whole building.
Well, I mean that's kind of not. I mean that was kind of
Oh,
who dropped the
it
bombs.
was an act. Molten dropped the bombs.
Oh,
So
why was Milton there?
but you see, that is actually plays into the Molten being there and us not noticing or caring about him, played into the bigger theme, in my opinion, of the whole story. These characters don't matter. They're expendable, right? And Milton was a representation of how expendable these characters are. Milton drove when they're sitting and talking and having their deep moments, Milton was the guy driving the van. Milton was the guy who was waiting outside the door on alert before the guys come in. But from a camera, from our viewer point of view, Milton isn't put in frame. He isn't pointed out. So Milton, like I was actually laughing at the scene because when they're walking through the white mist when it's raining and they're going into the tower and they all charge in through the doors and you've got this guy wearing flip flops and khaki shorts running behind him. I was like, why is that guy with them?
I only saw him at the door. Actually, to
Yeah,
be honest, I didn't see him in the rain.
but
I
you
didn't see him in
realize
the rain.
everywhere else he's actually in the movie. He's walking when they're walking that must shot where everyone reveals out of the white. Molten is there. He's
Yeah,
the
I'm saying like I'm realizing it now, but I didn't see him.
and so for him to die and us to kind of feel nothing about Molten die is the whole point of this, is that these guys are so expendable that if we didn't put the camera or put focus on them and their inner turmoils and what they're going through, would we care about these characters? If we go to the next DC movie and like we don't even care that Deadshot is not in this thing. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
care if
yeah.
they really bring Deadshot back or not. Like, yes, we were supposed to have bonded with him and Killer Croc and all those guys, but if we hear in a later movie, oh no, Killer Croc died in a sewer flood, or I don't know, like acid was poured down the sewer and it was melted, we'd be like, expendable. Give me someone else, and give me someone else. It's like King
Well,
Shark
I
is
think the
there.
other thing though is that if they they expand the Robert Pattinson universe because I DC I think they're just going to what ironically what they're
If
going to do is
if they do the
what
Patterson universe, because I saw Starro, I want to see Jaro in one of this. You know, Jaro is
Jaro was.
the
Let
Robin
me
Starfish.
Oh, I remember Silver Age was dumb. Woo!
when one of Starro's babies
Was a Robin.
was a Robin, I want to see that.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Woo! That was dumb. Anyway, yeah. So again, I think for me, it was still it was the best DC movie I've seen.
Yeah,
Like even including Man of Steel, because I think Man of Steel it started out good, but then towards the end it got too saccharine and sad, and also there's too many actions like contradicting the characters. Like
yeah,
I saw like an in depth breakdown of Man of Steel, and when Superman kills Zod, he's supposedly like torn up about it. But like if you watch the fight, most of the moves he does to Zod, that looks like they're intended to kill Zod.
it's a
It
clean
doesn't look like
blows.
they're intended.
Yeah,
So and also I think another thing that kind of bothered me because again, I'm not a big Superman fan, but one thing I do know him for is saving people. And
yeah,
in that fight, he does not look like he's concerned with saving anybody, which is weird because in the beginning of Man of Steel, when you see the fight in the small town, he's very like he saves people in that
yeah.
scene. Like it's actually a really good scene.
But
So I don't know
they
why
did
they
some
did that at the
stupid
end.
stuff where, like, already his motivation, like, I don't know if they built it up and changed their mind where he let Jonathan die.
That
Like,
was dumb.
he let
That was dumb.
Jonathan die in a tornado. Sure. Now, even if he did let Jonathan die to save himself, wouldn't that weight on your conscience be enough to make you that I won't let anyone die again?
Yeah.
Yeah, if they had to play on the concept of like, I practically killed my father because I was so scared to reveal to the world or for a few people to see who I am. There must be a solution. Like you spoke about Superman versus the Elite. I keep bringing
Yeah.
that movie back because that actually showed the type of thing Superman would rather have done. Like you want me to see me break loose, like when he doesn't
Mhm.
actually do it. At the end, he reveals that it was just an elaborate plan for him to show the potential of what he could do. And you don't want to see me angry type of thing, where you don't want to see me do that kind of stuff. Um, he could have found a way. Superman could have found a way. Let the tornado take your father, then fly up quickly in the dust and catch him and
No,
take him
like
somewhere
he could have
safe.
just super speeded. Like he could have ran
Right?
so fast that nobody would have noticed him.
Right?
Got his dad out. Like yeah, I still think it's not the like. I think Man of Steel was an okay movie.
Yeah.
I just think toward the end it falls apart very very badly.
But I told you what my
And then
problem with that. They focus too much on his conflict of feeling alien than his conflict of his humanity. He didn't
yeah,
have as much humanity in the Man of Steel movies, and like even in the Justice League movies or after his death. Um, According to Snyder, the point of that whole thing, him killing Zod, was supposed to be his turning point, deciding that he won't kill again and standing
but then he
fast on that.
does in the Batman versus Superman movie. The next movie, he does kill people.
Hmm?
Like when he saves Lois in that indiscriminate African
Oh
country,
yeah,
and
did
then
he
he
kill?
flies that guy. Yeah, he flies that guy through the wall. Like
Yeah, but you don't say he
that
killed
dude is
him. They
dead.
don't actually show him gratuitously killing them.
He's dead. There's
Badly
no
injured.
way.
It's like
He
Batman's version of
that
killing.
dude, no, that dude bent. That dude bent around Superman. His spine is broken.
But he's not dead. His spine is broken, but he's not dead.
Yeah, and then also you get Batman in that movie, who I love Batfleck. I thought Batfleck was good,
My
but I
favorite,
thought they
yeah.
did not utilize him well in
Yeah.
the Batman versus Superman movie. Then we get to Shazam. Shazam was pretty good. I did
Yeah.
enjoy Shazam. It's not fantastic, but I did enjoy it. And
I
then
I really enjoyed Shazam actually. Like it's probably now Suicide Squad, Shazam, um, Batman v no, not the Wonder Woman. The
Wonder
first,
Woman was good,
the
except
first.
at the end. Like the DC has this thing where at the end they just fumble the ball. Because Wonder
Yeah,
Woman, I liked it a lot until you get to the end where she goes Super Saiyan, and then all of a sudden she just completely destroys Ares. And I was just like, isn't he the god of war? Like
I
it,
know.
like the first round one was better, where she's like struggling to beat him and she's using all of her skills and everything.
Yeah,
I think if they kind of went more that route, I would have liked that finale more.
yeah.
Because like that finale is just her going Super
Oh, just a,
Saiyan and then
a
she just
batshit
destroys.
like. yeah, two super beings going at each other and bang bang bang,
Yeah,
powering
yeah.
up.
Like
Yeah.
I just think round one was so much better, and then round two at the end where she completely wrecks him. I was just like, but come
You
on,
know what
like
I would have, well, how I would have improved. Not that I can improve. I'm not a showrunner or whatever. What I would have done if it
not
was
yet,
me,
not yet.
if it was me in that movie, I would have had the general that they set up initially who was giving himself super strength or whatever. I would have had him change into like an avatar of Ares. Not like
Yeah,
being the actual Ares, being an avatar, getting like some kind of godly power granted to him. They fight it out, they duke it out, they have the fight. Wonder Woman beats him into submission and maybe he shrivels up back into a man or something like that. And then like they think the fight's over and then it's revealed later that like Ares is watching her or that Ares still has his control over the world
yeah.
or something.
I would have done. Yeah, that sounds much better than
Where
what they
it's not
actually
like her
did.
fighting the actual Ares. He's fighting maybe like a minion of Ares or someone that's got an increment of Ares' power or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I think that would have been because then it would have given the implication that Ares is because he should, by all definitions, be a lot stronger than her.
Oh yes.
Like,
Well,
yeah,
I think they equal out, but if you do like the what's it called? It's not called Gods and Monsters. That's a different storyline. Where in the new comic books where they touch more on her goddessness, where she's the daughter of Zeus. Ares is technically a brother, so they and he's one of the main villains, but he's like an anti-villain, anti-hero, not an anti-hero. Like sometimes he's villainous, sometimes he's like Loki. He's got that Loki vibes to him. So
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I think in the movie when they had her destroy him completely, that
yeah,
for me was just that was just boring because I was just like, round one was so
exactly.
much better. It was so much more interesting when she's trying different things versus
Yeah.
just destroying him completely. So I didn't like that.
So
And
where do you
then
think the DCEU is going? What's our next what?
I don't know. People like Aquaman. I didn't like Aquaman, so I definitely think Aquaman is still going to be there,
Yeah,
and it has its own situation with Amber Heard or whoever. She might be getting recast with the Daenerys
Daenerys.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they might be doing that. I
And
know
live.
Wonder Woman's
Oh,
going to
sorry.
stick around because Wonder Woman's first movie was pretty good.
Yeah.
Second movie, I haven't heard good things about it.
It's not that bad, but like the good things in the movie are really good, and then the average stuff are kind of bad, and then the bad stuff are just bad. If that makes sense. Like
Yeah, no, that's what I've heard about it. That's what I've heard
what's his
about
name?
it.
The dude who makes the wishes. It's got this whole monkey paw storyline. You know the monkey paw.
Um, what's
It's
his
like
name? I know he
careful
was
what.
played by Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal. It's like the careful what you wish for sort of storyline. But
Yeah.
the thing is, they don't do Chitara well. Like they could have just, if they just left her out of the movie, then I don't think it would have changed the movie much.
Mm.
If they
And then
left,
also there was that weird thing with her wishing for Steve to come back through that guy's body and using.
well, she didn't wish for it like that, but that was also like using someone else's body or someone else's conscious in it and sexing it up. That is, ooh, that's iffy.
Yeah, yeah.
If
So
imagine
I mean, I don't know.
Imagine if that role was reversed. If it was a dude, a guy who wished his girlfriend back and she came back in someone else's body and he was sleeping with her left, right, and center. It would be way
Yeah.
more. It's icky, dude.
I mean, look,
So
you know,
Lois died and Superman wishes her back and she's in someone else. She's in Diana's body. She's in Diana's body, but it's Lois's consciousness.
yeah, I mean, if we look at the history of what's this? If we look at the history of Hollywood, men have been doing lots of things that have been iffy for a long
Yeah,
time. So
true.
I guess it's still iffy, but like I understand why it's less iffy if it's a
Yeah,
woman type of thing, but it's still iffy. Um, what else do we got? What else do we got? Oh, Static is coming, and the Black Superman is coming.
yeah.
Basically, what DC's doing right now, which is interesting to me, I find it very funny. They're doing what Marvel did, but not with 10 years, but backing them up.
Yeah,
So basically, they're just going to make whatever movies that they make, tie it to the DCEU, and just say this is a DCEU movie. So
yeah.
if you're trying to follow like a continuity or something like that, good luck.
I do think it's like they tried the thing. You know, they tried the thing in the past, where they were trying to do the Marvel method, where Marvel made all their movies and all their series, well, all their series tie into one continuity, have the same backbone and storyline and things like that. And I think DC's just come to this point where they're like, we tried to do this, it's not quite working for us. Let's just make our own self. Because what's wrong? For many, many years, we used to just have self contained movies. A movie that starred a character that could be in any continuity. What they again, I'm saying DC, when they do their animated movies and things like that, they do a really good job. You know, Warner Brothers and DC, they do a good job. Sometimes they have self-contained movies. Sometimes they have movies that follow on sort of in the Marvel spirit, specifically the like Hush and Justice League movies and all those Suicide Squad. They all got the same continuity throughout and similar, if not the same art style. When it comes to your live action movies, then just do movies about characters and put them. If you have to set up a new plot, if it's not, do a part one, part two, part three type of thing, or just have it be its own movie in its own world, existing in its own continuity.
Well, the thing is that's interesting with I think because the first time around they rushed it.
Mm.
Like that's I think that was the biggest problem. Like like for me again, not the biggest fan of Superman, but I still think we should have gotten a Man of Steel 2 before we even
Mm.
got a Batman versus Superman. I mean, they could have fixed some of the problems of
I
Man
would
of
say
Steel
just
1.
remake
I think.
Superman. I'm really not a fan of Man of Steel. I kind of wish there was some really cool stuff in it, cool scenes. They made
Like
Superman.
like Henry Cavill was a pretty decent
That's the thing.
Superman.
I love Henry Cavill, but they don't touch on any of the parts that makes him charismatic, charming. If you see him as
No,
a,
no,
if
no.
you see him in interviews, you see him in something like Man from Uncle. You see him in even in, and he's a bad guy in that in the Mission Impossible. Even when you see him in that, he's charismatic, he's charming, he's got this cool thing. In Man of Steel, I didn't see that side of him or that part of him, you know?
Oh no, they no that
It was
whole
just
movie they
muscles. It
kind
was
of
just the whole time I'm watching this movie, in the back of my head, I'm hearing them go, I am Jesus. I am Jesus. Jesus
yeah.
imagery, cross and stuff. I am the savior of mankind. Jesus, 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 Jesus. That's all I got
Yeah,
through that
yeah,
whole
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
I'm sorry to be such a. So sometimes,
No, no. I mean,
sometimes it's not
I
my.
get it. A lot of people who were fans of that were not fans of Superman. Were not fans of that. I mean, for me, again, I know Superman, and like they didn't play up to the traits of Superman in that
Yeah,
movie. Even like, the color scheme of his suit was
yeah,
so. It should have been brighter than everything else, honestly.
yeah. But I think
But I mean, yeah, and then we're gonna be getting Black Superman, which I'm not excited for because I
Bentley,
just I
just do a
yeah.
look. Don't hate on it yet. It's gonna be it's an alternate universe. He's got his own storyline. We get to see their version of Supergirl, Superwoman, you know, all those characters and stuff. He's got his own unique suit. He's his own unique character. He's got his own personality. He's the president of America. Um, I
Well, it
think that.
depends. It depends because they might be doing Valzad from Earth 2, not that
Oh,
other
so they're doing.
Superman.
Oh, you think of the. Oh, okay. Well, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
No,
Let's just
I
see an
think the
alternate
thing for me
version.
though is I'm a person who's a huge fan of Milestone Comics, and I know Static might be getting a movie,
Yeah.
maybe. And I'm looking at the new series. The way they're writing Static is, I'm not really enjoying it yet. It's not terrible, but it is like a huge departure, and they're trying to young justice to him a bit too much, where they're making
Ah.
him too serious, and I'm worried about that because I'm just like Static was a fun, happy go lucky character. Even when things got dark, like
Yeah.
Spider Man, things get dark in Spider Man. But Spider Man himself, even though sometimes he gives into the darkness, usually he pulls himself out of it. And Static was the same way. So
Yeah.
I hope in the new series they start punching up the jokes and they start making him funnier and all of those
But it
things.
all
I'm
depends.
hoping.
Look at again, it's like it's people's interpretation of these characters and stuff, and like it's the same like why I don't like Man of Steel is, um, it's like people are stepping on the toes of my nostalgia.
Yeah,
And unless they
yeah.
do it justice and play it out well, but then I didn't get the rewards I was looking from a movie like that or something like that. So maybe someone who's more sensitive to your sentiment behind the character, then
Might
maybe
do the movie.
maybe they'll get
Hopefully.
Static right. Maybe they hype him up and they push him and um,
I hope so. I hope so. Just because, like, again, I think for me, one thing we need to worry about with realism and why I'm not a fan of realism, everything we say that's realistic is supposedly sad, dark, and depressing.
yeah,
And that's not all of realism.
like
Like that's
yeah,
not all of reality. Like your life doesn't suck all the time.
exactly.
It's not possible.
That
That's
that
like
that's why we spoke about this the last time. That's why this Lois and Clark series work. Lois and Clark, the Superman and Lois series works
yeah. Well,
because
technically it is Lois and Clark.
yeah, well, Superman and Lois. That
Yeah.
there's dark moments, but there's also levity. There's every cloud there's a golden a silver lining around things.
Yeah.
There's
And
moments
there's
when
hope.
there's
Like
hope.
there's
It's
hope.
hopeful. Exactly. Everything doesn't have to be dark and miserable. Like I know I'm gonna say something controversial, and you can decide whether you want to edit it out. But like in the cancel culture we have right now, in the mentality and the thinking, people are so um, inclined to lean towards the negative and the obscure, and society is undermining us, and we don't have voices and things like that. But by focusing so much on that, you stop seeing the positives that there are happening in society, where you are heard, where you're open to speak, where you have platforms where you can share your opinions with no one, with people either to agree with you or to judge you, and to have content that you can curate, and opinions you can choose whether you want to engage with or not. And we tend to just fall into the negative and to the dark, the desperate, and we often forget to laugh and to smile and to be happy, and the fact that we're still surviving and making it through day to day, and that we can have livelihoods, and that we have entertainment that's at our fingers and at access whenever we want it. We forget to look at the
No, I mean, like that's
upside
the
of
thing.
life.
You gotta have a whole picture. Like that's
Yeah,
the thing. You gotta have and I
holistic.
think like one thing that hurt the DCEU is that they didn't do that.
Yeah,
Like they leaned into one. Like the reason why Wonder Woman was such a good movie in the DCEU, and also if we look at even the Suicide Squad for a bit,
yeah,
like the reason why they work is because they balanced each other out. Like Marvel, I understand the Marvel theory, but you don't have to make a movie like that.
yeah,
But like the point is that everything is kind of holistic. Like there
yeah,
is good and there is bad. There is like stuff that sucks and stuff that's fun. So
yeah,
when you look at the Wonder Woman movie, they'll have moments of seriousness and then they'll have moments of levity and then they'll
yes,
have moments of people being together and then they'll have moments where it's depressing. Like it's a whole picture.
yeah.
So I think definitely with the DCEU, they need to stop. I understand that DC is a dark, quote unquote, dark, and that's only
See me
because of
roll my
Batman.
eyes.
And that's only because of Batman, because Batman sells so much merch and stuff. And even Batman himself is not that dark
No,
because you get moments of him and the Robins, you get moments of him and Alfred. Like he's a dark character, but he's still human. Like there's still things about him
I
that
think
are fun.
I think that's the next step that the DCUs. We were talking about the future of the DCEU, and you were talking about Patterson, but it's
Yeah,
like we don't have a live action besides the old what was it, 1991 movie with
yeah, yeah, yeah.
with thingy with
George
George
Clooney.
Clooney, um, with a Robin. Put Batman with a Robin. Like take the serious dude and juxtapose him with the kid that's like, yo, stop being so down and out, dude. Like let's have
Yeah,
fun. And you can, and
I think.
even if you want to
Yeah,
make
go
a
ahead.
dark, you put him with a Jason Todd so that he's asking to be killed by the Joker in the end, so you can feel sad. But like, but like, you
No,
know,
but I mean, like all of the Robins still did, they whoever they were. Because
yeah,
my favorite was Tim Drake, but whoever
yeah,
they were, they did counterbalance Batman, and they did, and like also if you look at Batman himself, he does have those moments. Like
yeah,
even in the Batman costume, he'll have those moments where he
yeah,
like smiles. Like that's why the Justice League animated series and the Batman animated series was so good.
yeah,
Like I'm just saying, I think it leaning to one side is unhealthy. Like
yeah,
leaning on one side completely is unhealthy. And I think the DCEU and I think in general with culture, we do that a lot sometimes.
yeah,
Getting back to Black Superman for a bit, the only thing that I'm hoping for is that they make an icon movie because I really
yeah.
want an icon movie. So if they can just also put that in the slate, that would be great. Because look, if DC wants to cheat, actually, if they want an instant cheat code of like 5 years,
Yeah,
they can use the milestone universe.
yeah.
Like it's so small,
Put
and
Mr. Terrific in there as well.
yeah, like the milestone universe is so small that they
Yeah,
could legitimately have like 5 years, a movie each year, and then on year number six, then they have their whole Avengers event because there's like maybe 10 characters you need to focus on
yeah,
in that entire universe. So if they wanted to build a cinematic universe, if they still are bent on that, milestone is like the cheat code. So I'm hoping that in the future of DCEU, look at the old stuff, look at the Dwayne McDuffie stuff, please, please, because I'm
yeah.
seeing some of it now, and they're not really looking at that stuff like that. They're kind of making him way too serious. I'm hoping that they make my boy Static funny again. But like, yeah, look at
the
that stuff and
to the old comic
make
book
that universe.
to the old
Yeah,
comic
make
book
that
version of
universe.
him. The comic book, the TV series version of him.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, even like I don't know if you got to read it, but like the 40 issues that he had, like
Yeah,
in that issue, the stuff gets dark. Like it does. They touch on a lot of stuff. But Static himself, even though he gets dark, because like in his original origin, actually, he was this. He's getting bullied by this guy who belongs to a gang. So
yeah,
another gang member hands him a gun and says, "Look, you can go shoot this guy at this dock at this time or whatever, and he'll never pick on you again."
yeah,
And then Static takes the gun and he's like, I'm tired of being picked on. I don't want to deal with this guy anymore. I can just pull the trigger, but he doesn't do it because inside of him, he doesn't have that. So he's
yeah,
just like, I'll figure something else out. And he throws the gun into the sea. And then, like, without any powers, we've already learned so much about this guy. And then he gets his powers. And then you see him deal with, like, neighborhood bullies and narcotics and, gangsters and all of that stuff. But he never stops being like a jovial dude.
yeah,
Like in fact, his joviality is how he copes with everything crazy. That's why he was kind of Spider-Man's DC's answer to Spider-Man
yeah,
if they used him properly.
yeah.
But like yeah, so definitely go with that route and all of that stuff.
But
That's
that's
what they could do
interesting
for the
topics.
future.
Like I had there's a story I thought about. I never worked on it like to be what's it, but yeah, it's like that type of concepts. Like we need these new type of looks at that. Like specifically also because he's a black kid, those are the type of circumstances you would face where it's like, yeah, it's a gang thing, go shoot someone. Like I had this story in my head as well where it's like, um, if a dude from a township gains powers and he wants to try and fix gangsterism in his township or something. You kill one gangster, they think it's a different gang or someone else that killed them. You basically escalate and create gang wars. The more people you fight or you interfere with, the more you just escalate war. You cause imbalance in your community, and then it's all on you. How do you fix it? Like, what are the
Mm,
ramifications? Like, I wanted to kind of take that different kind of dark take at what it is to be a hero on a small scale like that.
Yeah,
Where you're not just stopping a mugger and things like that. You're trying to like literally stop things like Batman. Batman can't even stop the Falcones and the Maronis
yeah.
of ruling Gotham. Like, what would I do? You're a stupid kid and you have powers, you have abilities, you think you can do something, but you just fuck up everything even more.
Yeah, no, actually, that sounds like really cool. That sounds really cool. Because I mean, yeah, I do wanna write like, I do wanna write similar stories on like Neon Wave. Basically, is very very street level.
Yeah,
So yeah, trying to deal with stuff like that is, but also I just think keeping the hopefulness of it and everything. That's just something I think that DC also need to lean into.
yeah,
So I think they have a bright future. I think DC can turn it around. I don't think that they need to be in competition with Marvel because this thing of either Marvel or either DC needs to stop.
yeah.
Like, guys, you read what you want. I have Batman comic books. I have Spider-Man comic books. I have Flash comic books. I have Black Panther comic books. It's not like it's a Mortal Kombat. I must take your head off.
Yeah, the content is out there, left, right, and center for you to enjoy. If you enjoy Invincible, doesn't mean that you can't watch The Boys as well. Doesn't mean that you can't watch CW shows or enjoy Marvel or DC. It's again like that comment I was making at the beginning about your preference in music. As when you
Yeah,
limit yourself to one thing, you're going to switch yourself off to something completely different. When you're doing this mindset thing of like, oh, Marvel is so much better than DC, so I'm not even going to give DC a chance. Some people go in and watch DC movies or DC content literally just to criticize it, just to be like, I want to see how bad it is. Oh, it's DC, it's going to suck. Like,
I can't waste my time on stuff like that.
go in,
Honestly.
go in with an open mind. You don't know what you're going to get out of it.
I mean, that's what I actually did with Superman and Lois.
Yeah,
Because to be honest, I was not a big fan of Superman for a long time.
yeah.
I saw the trailer and I was like, Then I said,
CW.
okay, let me watch
Yeah,
this. Let me try. Let me see. Like, and I loved the first episode.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, definitely you can't. Being open minded is much more better than being closed
yeah.
minded. It's just
Look,
it.
it's like and then you take the good with the bad. It's like my weird fandoms. Like even as someone who like creates content and watches a lot of stuff and whatever, I was a big fan of Smallville back in the day. I watched all of it and probably multiple times. And I get shit and I don't care. Like I took the good out of it. I accepted the stuff that were bad and hokey, but in order to get to the good stuff, you have to get through the hokey stuff. It's exactly the same thing like Supernatural. Supernatural was not great for about a few seasons in the middle there, and they had like something like 14 seasons, 15
Yeah.
seasons, and I watched all of it. I watched all of it. I took the good with the bad, but if you really siphon through it, there's some interesting concepts here and there. Some of it is hokey, some of it is weird. People die, come back from the dead. Um, ideas get retconned and re-explained, and I was like, I'm in it for all of it. I
Yeah,
literally like
I mean
Supernatural
that's kind
so
of
much.
how I feel about Dragon Ball Z. I know a
Yeah,
lot of anime people are coming up and saying Dragon Ball Z was not as great as you think it is. What? I'm like, yeah, I recognize the stuff that's bad about it, but I
yeah,
still,
exactly.
you know,
Exactly. But that's exactly the point. It's like everybody's gonna like something, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it, and you shouldn't let the opinions of other people influence how you feel about something. Start consuming your content and making up your own mind. Don't go to reviewers and to the internet to hear their opinions first. It's kind of ironic that we're saying this on a podcast where we talk about this kind of stuff and giving our
No, I
opinions.
mean, I think the thing, the big message is that make up your mind for yourself.
Yeah,
Like even if I watch reviews, I'll still go watch something to make up my own
yeah.
mind. I think that's one thing that also needs to stop in society is I'm going to be controversial now, so I'm keeping all of it in.
Yeah,
Is
but
that
like think
I
about something like we spoke about it a couple of podcasts ago about the whole He-Man thing. The internet
yeah
still kind of hates He-Man. It's like this whole cancel culture thing is going on with He-Man. And it's like if you guys are gonna go on like that, like act something that's actually in some opinions could be dope content just because He-Man was written out of it. That's why you hate the show. but you're not looking at what the good in the show is in it. And by having this cancel culture to it, they won't get their season three, their season four. You won't get these creators won't be able to make more content where the story might actually get to where you want the story to be. You cut them off, you cut their legs off
Yeah,
from
because
other.
I mean, even if we look at it, I don't think they're gonna keep He-Man out. I just don't think that's gonna
Yeah.
happen. I think they're gonna just write in some magic thing, and He-Man's gonna be back, and maybe they'll sit him to the side for a couple of episodes, but he's coming
Yeah.
back. But I'm just
Well,
saying, yeah,
look
I think in
look at what happened in Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was cool. Harley Quinn is their golden child, and Harley Quinn set out a lot of that movie.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
come
yeah.
to think of it, because if Harley Quinn was there, Margot Robbie and her performance would steal attention from everybody else. She'd steal all the scenes. As they actually made a good choice not having her in a lot of scenes, so that the team that we got, these people that we're not supposed to care about, we could start caring about them. So let the things breathe. Learn about new characters. If He-Man was the main guy in the show, we just get a dude who we know his deal already.
Mm.
He'd just be going on adventuring. There'd be no complexity. Tila could have been written better, but still,
Anyway,
there's a season
that's
two.
another.
There's a
Go
season
listen to
two.
a previous one if you're interested in those thoughts. But I think the point is, I think the point is that I do think that a lot of people are sheepish. I think in the sense that, like, for example, with this whole Marvel or DC camp, which
Yeah,
this was not part of the topics, but I think we should talk about it anyway. I think the thing is that you don't have to be in a camp when it comes to entertainment.
yeah,
I think you don't have to, you know, you don't have to hate a thing because everybody hates a thing. Like, I am a person who, if I don't like something, it's because I've seen it and I don't like it.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I will never make like an opinion where I'm just like, oh, this guy told me, so now I don't like it.
yeah.
Nah. And I think that's critical thinking 101. It's just don't follow something because somebody told you something.
Exactly.
Rather go look at it for yourself.
Yeah, judge it. That's end goal. I think you said it precisely right. Like, make your own decisions about things. Make up your
Because
own
at the end of the
mind.
day, that's what you do with your brain anyway. Like, you can't blame somebody if you make a decision because you
Yeah.
made that decision.
But
So at
also,
least exercise.
don't be ashamed for what you like.
Yeah, that's also a big thing as well. That's also a big thing as well.
Yeah,
Like, I know there's some things that I like where people are like, seriously?
yeah.
Like, I get a lot of shit for pun man. Like, I
Oh,
get a lot of
yeah. But if it, but that's the thing. If something brings you joy, who's someone else to rob you of that joy? You
yeah,
know?
no, I'll never stop. It's never gonna stop.
Exactly.
Speaking of things that bring me joy, let's talk Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh my gosh, I'm
TMNT.
so
What you
excited.
get is what you see.
Yeah, the 2003, 2003, 2006 era, that's the era that I grew up with. I
Yeah.
also just started watching the 80s cartoons as
Hmm.
well because I thought those were really good as well. And that theme and the 2003 theme are really good. I have them on my phone actually. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Turtle
So,
Courier. Yeah.
oh my gosh, man, I
Teenage
love that. I love
Mutant
that
Ninja
series.
Turtles. Teenage Mutant. Yeah. Um.
Uh,
So. Little do most people know that's another one of my massive fandoms.
oh my
I haven't
favorite
gotten
turtle,
much.
favorite
Mine,
turtle, go.
Mikey.
Favorite turtle.
It used to be Mikey, Michelangelo. Now I like
Uh,
Raph, but yeah, Mikey.
uh, okay, Leonardo's
Ah,
my
tell
guy.
me what, Leonardo has no defining characteristics.
What do
He's
you
just the
mean?
leader. He's just the leader.
Oh man,
He's
no.
just the leader by proxy because Splinter didn't want to give in and admit that Raph was the better turtle.
Ah, come on. No, Leonardo's my guy.
um,
No,
I think,
the reason I kind of love Leonardo also is because as much as like as fiercely protective as he is of his brothers and everything, and he like gives into their goofiness and stuff, but also when like it's time to be serious and keep everyone safe, he's
yeah.
because I'm a bigger brother. That's kind of why I relate to him pretty much. So yeah, Leonardo was my guy, man. or is my guy actually.
I suppose that makes sense. I'm also a big brother, the older brother. Um, Still like Raph. Probably because I'm me.
Raphael, no,
I don't have
I
brothers.
think
I
I
have
love all the
sisters.
turtles for a different reason, but like just Leonardo was the guy that stuck with me the most.
Yeah,
Cause
I used to like Mikey because Mikey was the levity. He was the
yeah,
he was the heart. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Raph is obviously the muscle. Leo's the head. Mikey's or the head in the sense of the head. Donnie's the brain, and Mikey's the heart. So
yeah,
um, that's sort of how I saw them. I liked the way or a lot of stuff they did in the 2006 Turtles, the TMNT show. Before that, it
yeah,
was um, the classic '86 Turtles where they were completely goofy. They were all
yeah, yeah,
literally
yeah.
Michelangelos.
Well, you know what was funny is that in the comic books, they all used to have red
Bandanas,
bandanas.
yeah,
They never
exactly,
had the different color bandanas until the 80s cartoon.
yeah. And in the new run of the comics, they explain all of that, eh?
Yeah, you know,
And
I've been
while
reading those. The IDWs are
the
really good.
IDW stuff,
have you started reading? Have you started reading Lost Ronin?
no, but I do know of it. The last
Oh,
I
you
read
should
was
check it out.
the last I read was with Jenica,
Oh, you should check it out. You should check it
the
out.
yellow turtle.
Oh, wait.
There's a
Okay, maybe I'm
female,
missing that.
there's a
Okay,
yellow female turtle that joins them.
okay, I need to check that out. I haven't seen that yet.
Jenica,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
But there's a whole story, but you'll find out if you read it. I don't want to spoil that for you.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find it. But
Um,
yeah, getting also another series that was great and you should I don't know if you've seen it is the Nickelodeon 2012 series.
yes, I've seen some of that as well. Like that was good, but I think I outgrew Turtles a bit, and that was also aimed at a slightly younger audience.
Well,
And
I mean, I think if you give it more of a chance, you'll see 'cause what they do is they actually do references to like older turtle properties.
yes,
And they even cross over with the 80s turtles at some stage.
oh
Just like how
yeah,
they did in the
I remember
2003
I
turtles.
briefly saw that episode. They did a movie like that called Turtles Forever. Check that movie out.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've
yeah.
seen that.
So
Yeah,
so yeah, that like that 2012 series to me, I enjoyed it a lot as
yeah.
well. I watched all 5 seasons of it.
Okay,
You know, they
sweet.
cover yeah, they cover everything. They bring in old turtle villains. Shredder in there is fantastic
Oh yeah,
because
the Scott
he's
Shredder.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because he's played by Kevin Michael Richardson, I think.
Okay.
Uh yeah, so he and the choreography in that was also brilliant.
Yeah.
Like the fights in there are just A1.
I like that they
And
mix anime tropes in there as well. Like as soon as they get serious, their eyes go white, and
yeah. That's a
and
reference to the 2003 Turtles also because the
2003, yeah,
2003, 2006, that's where they had the white
the
eyes as
white
well.
eyes, and then
So
when
it's a
they
pretty good series if you're a fan of Turtles. Like
and when
if you
they
don't know
do
it, you
funny
should probably
things, they
check it out.
actually have like the anime faces and stuff like
Yeah,
that. They have
yeah.
like the big beads of sweat and the anime tropes
It's a
and things.
I loved that series a lot. Like I would rewatch that series again. So
I sort of like this new one that they had. Was it 2019, 2018? They did another remake. I didn't watch a lot of that, but dude, the because I was more into creating like the storyboarding for that and the scene selections and shots. That's the one where there's a mutant world underground, like
mm,
under the city. There's a whole mutant city, and the turtles kind of hang out there and they transverse between the real world and that. And in that one, each turtle is drawn in different molds to fit their
yeah.
style. But in that storyline, what I didn't like is that Raph is the leader.
I thought you would have liked that. I thought he was your favorite turtle.
No, that Donnie, Leo needs to be the leader. Um, in this one, they're also too reckless, but I think it's before the heroes type of thing. They actually are
Oh,
making them act like teens. Um,
oh, okay. No,
um,
I think like the
I like the
2012 one
fact that
also
Leo
did
was
that really well.
I like the fact that Leo is disciplined and he follows the code of Bushido and all those things, which makes him the leader. Raph is the brawler. What the comic books did with Raph, I kind of like as well. Um, so, so there's a couple of things that happen when the turtles get flushed down the sewers with the ooze with the TCR, what's it called, TCRG,
TCRI.
TCRI, yes. When they get flushed down the sewers with the ooze, Rat gets lost. Rat gets separated off. And then Shredder gets the first three boys. But in their consciousness, as their consciousness is growing, they realize one of their brothers is missing.
Oh, Splinter. Splinter, you mean,
Splinter,
right?
yeah. But
Yeah.
the boys are also growing up and realizing they don't have. But they're going out and doing these missions and like kind of being heroics and stuff. And then they come across one that was like living on the streets. But in the meantime, he met Casey and stuff like that. And so he's like wild and he's a brawler and a fighter. That's why his personality is like that. Then obviously they find him and they bring him back into the fold. But then they're all wearing red at that time because they all look the same. It's like a tactic. Um, but then not Shredder, Splinter has a dream where he realizes that he's actually he's a mouse who's a reincarnation of what's it, Yuzaki Miyamoto, whatever his original name was.
Hanzo. No, no, no. Wait.
Hanzo, no, Hanzo's the Shredder.
Hanzo Shredder. Hamato Yoshi. There we go.
Hamato Yoshi. Then he actually realized that the Shredder, when he sees the Shredder, he realizes that him as a rat and the turtles are reincarnations of him and his family that the Shredder slayed. And so each of his kids had their favorite colors, and after that, he decides to give them. Because when you show the flashbacks, you see the fun kid in the orange and the other kid, they're all wearing like these Japanese tunics. And that's why they have this inclination for fighting and why they're able to do ninjutsu and those type of things. That's because in that storyline, they're reincarnations of their human
Yeah,
selves.
I read those books. Those were really, really good. I
Yeah,
mean, the 2003 Turtles, the weakness of it is kind of the origin story
yeah,
because the Splinter in that one, he was just a rat pet of Hamato Yoshi. So
yeah.
he just watched Hamato Yoshi practice ninjutsu every day and he like learned it.
Yeah, I didn't
That
like
was
it.
really
I thought like if he was maybe like exposed to ooze from an earlier stage and then a
so if
second
you remember the
mutation.
80s cartoon, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you remember the 80s cartoon and in the 2012 cartoon,
He was
what
human.
happens is,
Yeah,
yeah, what happens is that he was a ninja from what's this, a clan, and
yes,
he was like the head of that clan, like
yeah,
as he was getting younger or whatever. I mean, as he was getting older, he was the head of that clan. So what happens is that he gets doused in ooze from TCRI
yeah,
while he's carrying a bunch of turtles home.
yeah.
And then that's when, yeah,
In
in
the
the 2012 as well.
in the 80s cartoon, 86 cartoons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they literally show it in the intro. He's sitting in the sewer and he's meditating, and the ooze fall. He's got rats crawling on him, like a rat crawling on, and the ooze falls on him. And at the same time, the turtles kind of like wash past him, so he transforms into the rat and finds the turtles at the same time. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So in the 2012 one, what happens is he was actually taking them home. He bought them from the store
yeah,
because he wanted some pets because he was feeling lonely
yeah. They have
after
it in
he
that
lost.
like comic book style scene. I watched that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that to me was a better origin. I
Yeah.
still love that cartoon though. That 2003 cartoon, I still love it to this
I'm
day.
actually going to check out that cartoon again. I actually have the toys, or I had the toys
Oh
for them.
man, I
I
wanted
like
those action figures so bad. I
I like
remember
them.
Cubase 28. Was it Cubase 28 or was it like YoTV or somebody? They were running like this competition
Yeah,
to like win some Turtles action figures, and like I applied and everything. Never got back to me.
we
I
had
was
the
so heartbroken.
action figures of them in that Dungeons and Dragons episode
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
where Mikey is like the elf
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
the hat
Yeah.
Raph is the like barbarian the with the thing on. And then I had another one like the tiny ones where they have like these mech suits. But yeah, I had some figurines
Oh
of
man,
them.
that I swear when I get money, this background behind me is going to look so ridiculous.
No, but I don't keep since I have kids. I don't keep figurines because everything is toys.
Ah,
I'm
well,
of
I
the
mean,
I'm of the mindset of not just looking at things. Things need to be functional, so toys need to be played with. I know I'm
well, I
a
mean,
weird nerd for saying that kind of stuff, but I don't
yeah.
actually collect things like that anymore.
No, well, I mean, for me, I want to have a collection phase before I get kids. So
Yeah,
I want to have a whole background that's just got toys for no
toys.
reason,
Yeah,
and then and then after that, everybody can play with them. But like, yeah, I do want that. I do like that's the thing that's gonna chop me. Usually, I'm financially responsible,
yeah.
but action figures are gonna chop me
You start getting into toys and things. Yeah,
just
yeah.
because I
So
wanted them
so
as a kid.
apparently so apparently Seth Rogen is doing the new TMNT movie.
Yeah.
Is it
Thank
gonna
you for
be?
keeping me on track. I was just going back down the nostalgia lane. Thank you.
Is it gonna? You think it's
Um,
gonna be toy live action CGI?
they say CG. So the article here from Deadline, which is supposedly supposed to be very accurate. The article here from Deadline is saying that it's a CG movie reboot, so totally CG, and it's supposed to be released on August 11th, 2023.
Oh, I know why.
That's
I know why I kept saying the 2006 Turtles. Because the
oh why?
2006 Turtles is when that CG movie came out.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's the TMNT movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. TMNT movie where they fought that dude who was in immortal or something.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
that was technically a spiritual successor or sequel to the animated series. It's sort
Yeah.
of. They never say it outright, but they imply it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that series went on for like I think 7 seasons.
It
I
went
think
on for
somewhere
a
there.
while. They went into the future at one point and well,
I hated that part though. That
oh,
future part, no.
yeah.
That that future part, no. Just
And
I
there
love
was
when they went back to the
one
sewers.
season I struggled to get was where they were the Mystic Turtles or something like that.
Turtles have done a lot of stuff, eh?
Yeah.
So yeah, Seth Rogen is producing this with his partners Evan Goldberg and James Weaver. There's no other details. There's no other doodling stuff. Um, yeah, I'm seeing his tweet here. There's nothing crazy going on about it. I just saw that there was an animated still, like a beautiful animated, not well, beautifully drawn like picture of Leonardo, and that was all that was released about it. But like Seth Rogen, who did The Boys, Seth Rogen, who was also in, he didn't no he's not work he didn't work on Invincible. I'm just trying to remember. No, he didn't work on
Well, he's
Invincible.
involved
Um,
with the boys. There was something also recently. Oh, it's a show I was watching called Preacher. A series called Preacher. That Seth
oh
Rogen was also
yeah,
involved with. Also, comic book
yeah.
based
So
movies. I think he's getting very much into these things based on comic books. And what I'm assuming he'll do, because he's like Kevin Smith in a way, they like to take the source material. So if they're going to use the IGW stuff, then they'll probably use that baseline for storyline, which would be cool.
yeah, I guess so. I guess so. No, I've liked a lot of Seth Rogen stuff. Not all of it. Some of it was not so great. Like I
Yeah.
didn't like his Green Hornet movie. His Green Hornet movie to me was
What? I like that movie. I've watched it a few times. I actually really enjoyed that movie.
yeah, man. The Kato character was still my favorite in that series, and I did steal some of the stuff ideas for Kato because fun fact in China was this Green Hornet was actually known as the Kato show because
Yeah.
they never actually had the Green Hornet on the poster. They just had Bruce Lee
As
on the
Kato,
poster.
yeah. But
Yeah.
the thing is, the funny thing is that like it's the Inspector Gadget story. At the core, it's where the main character does nothing of real importance. It's the side character that
Yeah,
gets no credit, that solves and does everything. Um, I did like
yeah,
the
that
Green
was
Hornet movie. I haven't watched
yeah,
it in a while. The problem with that movie is it's kind of forgettable because
yeah. It
I
is.
can't, I off the top of my head, I remember scenes from it. I remember them being in the garage and having the black car and having some kind of fight in the cemetery. But actually remembering the movie, I can't. And I
Yeah,
don't like it when movies do that when they're not very memorable.
yeah. And
And I
also the
remember
villain in there.
enjoying the movie while I watched it, but I can't tell you what happened in the movie when I watched it.
Yeah, I just also the villain was so forgettable. The only guys I remember was Seth Rogen and the guy who played Kato. That's the only
Yeah,
people I remember vividly in my mind. But yeah, also the stuff that he did with the boys or his involvement with the boys, because I mean, I think he was just a producer. I don't
yeah.
think he was a writer. But like, yeah, that stuff was pretty good as well. And a lot of his movies are pretty good. He's got an interesting sense of humor. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he applies that to something like the Turtles
Yeah. So
as
look,
long as he don't break as long as he don't break the lore of the turtles, in my opinion. Like, the IDW comics did take the turtles out of like their goofiness. Like
hmm.
the IDW comics are way more, but I mean it's still the turtles though. Like it doesn't feel like it's totally different.
But this,
You know what I'm saying?
but the turtles are weird in that way because in the original comic books, they actually started out like mad dark. Like the original
Yeah,
comics is dark and a lot of crazy shit happens and a lot goes down. Then they brought out the turtles that sounded, and this was around about the time all the crazy, because turtles were so successful, they basically spawned the ridiculous characters where you just string a whole lot of names together and make it Toxic Crusaders, Samurai Pizza Cats. What was that one with the fair? Mummies Alive. Um,
yeah,
they just took all these crazy things, gave them a power, and then like mutant stuff, weirdo things, and put them into a thing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The guy, I saw a little clip about him, and he's like, I was a joke. They were like, they were like, if
yeah.
Bruce, if
It was a joke. It was a joke based on Daredevil, wasn't it?
I was a joke based on Bruce Lee.
Oh,
They were like, if Bruce Lee was any kind of animal, what would be the funniest animal to make Bruce Lee? And they were like, a turtle, and then they drew him as a turtle, and that actually comes back into Naruto. That same joke. Because Guy Sensei, what's his summoning animal?
oh, a turtle.
Full
Oh my gosh.
circle.
I just I did not catch that. I knew that him and Rock Lee were kind of based on Bruce Lee and Jackie
Yeah,
Chan a little bit.
yes,
But like, yeah, I did not catch that. That's
yeah.
actually pretty fun.
So TMNT was actually a joke made about Bruce Lee and what would be if Bruce Lee was an animal, what animal would he be? And then that's out of the creator himself's mouth. And then it was a joke. Then they made it this whole serious comic book. But then when it got adapted for TV, they were like, kids are gonna watch this. And if these turtles are mutants, we might as well put crazy mutants so we can do whatever. We can have bananas that are mutants running around town with their mission to try and make people slip. Like there
Yeah.
wasn't anything very serious about it.
Yeah, I think only in modded, like when you get to 2003. That's why I think Shredder to me is my favorite turtle villain. I
Yeah,
think is this Shredder is that type of. I know Krang also is on that level, and especially in the IDW comics, what they do
yeah,
with Krang, they make him terrifying.
yeah. But
But like,
I do like what they did in the 2003 Turtles, where Krang and Shredder's the same person, where Shredder's a Ultron.
yeah, that was weird.
Dude, I gotta admit, I like that idea. Like that really stuck with me. I was like, yeah, that makes more sense than Shredder having someone above him controlling him as well on a higher level. Having
Yeah, no, I
Krang,
mean, I never like it when they do that because to me, Shredder is like the quintessential villain in
yeah,
the TMNT. Like everybody else, like anybody else where you see them or whatever, you're just like, yeah, these guys are threats or whatever.
yeah,
But whenever Shredder lands, whatever iteration it is, whenever Shredder lands on the scene, people are like, okay, now it's getting
yeah.
serious.
When the turtles are on world, when they're on world, when they're on Earth or in or like normal day to day, Shredder and the Foot, and maybe even like the Purple Dragons coming here and there, but they should be part of the Foot. They should be subdivision of the
They
Foot.
yeah, they do get folded into the foot, I think.
Yeah, they do. They like the street level crappy thugs. Then the foot ninjas are actually like people who can fight, and then you got like higher levels, Bebop, Rocksteady, those kind of guys, Slasher, what's his name, Slash, and those guys, and um,
Mm.
yeah, his name is Slash, eh? The other turtle mutant. Yeah,
Uh,
but anyway,
is it okay? I can't remember his name now.
but
I know who
anyway,
you're
like
talking about.
yeah. But when they're off world, they also have compelling stories. Then they meet new people. They've got the what they call the Triceratons
Yeah, the Triceratons.
and all those other races and things. And when they go into interdimensional mystic worlds and stuff like, there's some dope stuff you can do with the turtles, like for real.
Yeah.
And please don't make Casey just comic relief. Don't make Casey lame. Make him a badass. Come on now. How hard is that to do?
Where did they make him lame? Because the 2012 series he was pretty effective.
In the
I mean, he
2012,
wasn't.
is it?
Yeah, in the
I can't remember. In the 2003 series, he was good, but he wasn't like Turtles good. He was kind of like a
well,
dumbass
I mean, it makes sense in the sense that he is a street brawler. Like they are actually trained martial artists.
ninjas, I
He's more of
suppose. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah, they should make him because in the IDW comics,
yeah,
he's very good. Like in the IDW comics, he also has like some interesting character arcs. Like the stuff that they do with Splinter and the Foot in the IDW comics. Maybe that's also some other stuff that they could introduce as well.
yeah,
Because like Splinter is a good dude, but he's still like a ninja warrior.
yeah,
So like and also the way his sons kind of deviate from him, especially like Mikey in
yeah.
the IDW comics. That was also very heartbreaking and sad to see, but
But
very
it's
interesting.
because he's got this like strong sense of Bushido, the way of the warrior type of thing. And remember these kids grew up in New York,
Yeah.
you know. And obviously Leo, if he's following in his father's footsteps with that whole Bushido mentality, he's gonna feel like a goody two shoes.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, Leo also is one of he pushes back against Splinter a lot.
Yeah,
Like him and Splinter also argue a lot because sometimes he's just like, we can't be doing it like this. And it's like, this is the way that it has to be done. So,
exactly.
what's interesting about Leo, and one of the things that I liked about Leo a lot, just, paralleling my own life, is like trying to walk the line,
Yeah,
but at the same time, trying to still be who you are,
yeah.
type
You
of
want
thing. So,
everyone's best interest. I think that's Leo's big conflict. They
yeah.
play it up a bit more like in the shows and stuff like that, where Leo was always like, and he fails once as a leader and then he crumbles. I can't be a
Yeah.
leader. I need to go away. I'm not good for my brothers. And I think they make him too much of a pansy sometimes.
No, I
Um,
mean there is instances of that where Leo does. But also in an interesting way, if you look at like somebody who is Leo's age and he's been giving all that responsibility, it can be looked at as
yeah,
that's a legitimate response where he's just like, I thought I knew what I was doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Like they teenagers. Like yes, fine. You can say they're 17 or 18, but they're still supposed to be teenagers.
But yeah, no, I mean the turtles for me. I'm a huge fan of the turtles. Very diehard turtle fan. Love almost everything. And even on some of the video games, like one of the what I want to do also is I want to get the PlayStation 2 or maybe get an emulator, and I want to get that TMNT game from the one that was based on the 2003 Turtle, the
Oh
TMNT
yes.
game. Yeah, it was
I
two-player. It was two-player, and you got to pick two of the turtles, and you get to fight like a bunch of turtle enemies, and you go across these maps and everything. It was like a side scroller, not a side scroller, but it was like a beat 'em up,
yeah,
and it
I
was
had that.
really cool.
I had that on. It's like the classic arcade sort of layout, and then
Yeah,
you could do team up moves as well, like team up power ups. So if you have
I don't know if it was a team up power up thing, like
yes, it
because it was
was.
on PlayStation 2. It was
I
on PlayStation 2.
I had it on Xbox 360. I had that game. So then
Oh, okay. Then it might be the yeah. Then it might be the same game.
if you have two, depending on the two characters that you have together, when you guys, I don't know, there was a move you could do, like your ball would fill up and there's a move you could do, and it would do like a combo move with the two characters together. Or you could like jump and then the other character would grab the another one and like chuck him higher. You could do like team up things like that. And
Was it on?
depending on
Was
which
it
two
was,
characters you had
was it also
together.
on PSP? Was it also on PSP?
No, no, no. I had this on like Xbox 360.
Because I know it was a cartoon. I know it was like the it was like based on the style of the 2003 Turtles. That's the game I'm talking about.
Oh no, am I thinking about the one that was based on the movie?
Yeah, you're thinking of the one based on the
Based on the
movie
movie. I
where
had the one,
where
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
where you get those cool traversal scenes. Like
Yes.
yeah. No, the one I'm thinking of it was like basically you PlayStation 2 what says you could play two player, and
Yeah,
what would happen is that it was based on the 2003 style. Like everything looked the same.
yeah.
Like the characters looked the same. Casey was in the game as well, and it was basically going through that storyline. So you go through like the Mouser storyline. You go through like I'll see if I can find the name of it. PS2 and TMNT
Yeah, it's called
2003.
Turtles 2 Battle Nexus.
Is it called Turtles 2 Battle Nexus? No, 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 not Battle Nexus, I think. I don't think it's Battle Nexus. It was just called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because it was based on the 2003. Yeah, yeah, it was just called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you look that up, and then if you like go to like some images and stuff, you'll see that it looks exactly like the cartoon, or more or less like the cartoon.
I'm checking, I'm checking. Because I'm finding
I
here.
wish I could.
Oh,
Let
that's
me
the
let me show
one
you.
I,
Let me show you my screen. Let me show you my
that's
screen quickly.
that's the one I had.
Oh, did you find it?
No, 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 the one I had, I thought it was 360. It was the Wii version of the game. The
Oh,
Nintendo
okay.
Wii TMNT game.
Let me show you. Okay, so for everybody who's watching this, I'm using my phone, so excuse the hands. But I just want to show you this. I just want to show you what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So that's what it looked like.
Oh yeah, look, I've seen that, but isn't that game called Battle Nexus?
So this is the game I had on PlayStation 2. I never got to finish it, but like yeah, this is the one I was talking about.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to see if I can find it again because it was a great game.
You probably by now, look, to be honest, you'll probably be able to emulate it by now.
Yeah, I probably have to emulate it by now.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to definitely seeing what Seth Rogen does with the turtles. It'd be
Yeah,
nice to have a new turtles thing. It's a franchise at this point. It's like Batman and Superman. They're not going anywhere for a very long time.
yeah.
So
Yeah, but
well,
turtles
I'm
have
I'm
been
I'm
have
hoping.
been ongoing for a very long time as well. You know, it's like they've
Yeah,
had
what how old are the turtles now? They like probably like 60 years now, something like that. Somewhere there.
no, dude. Oh, you mean like back to comic book times?
Yeah.
Because I know TV times, the first Turtles came out in '86. I know that because that was the year I was born.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to see. Um,
Yeah, I wonder how old the
it's probably like 40 years. I don't think it's that old. Yeah,
Yeah, they're not Batman old. They're
first
not Batman and
comics
Superman
first
old.
comics were from Mirage Studios, came out in 1984.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're 40 years old then, maybe
Yeah,
somewhere there.
yo, such a good guess off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, that was pretty good. I thought they were older than that. But then again, I don't know much about the turtles because I thought the 2003 turtles were the turtles until I found out about the older stuff.
No,
So I
dude,
only found out.
do you know like how many times even the old turtles they renewed to give it longevity? They had the 86 turtles. There was a point where there was a live action and they had a female turtle in there.
Oh yeah,
Venus de Milo was her name. She
yeah.
was like bluish or so. No, she was green. And then they had where the turtles were like transformers, where they like turned into like these bot things. Yeah, and like all these Mystic Turtles and all these add-ons, and then they
The
expand.
Mystic Turtles I know. The Transformers Turtles I didn't know.
Yeah, then you had the turtles. Yeah, that was the Venus the Milo turtle things, and they had like these Dows, these yin yang signs that they used to have on their belts and stuff. Um, then what else was there? There was a lot of turtle stuff, and then there's also like the interdimensional world where you meet Usagi Ujumbo.
Yeah, the Rabbit Samurai.
Yeah, I love that dude. I've
Yeah,
actually
and then
drawn
also
him.
there was they also had like Broadway plays or like
Yeah,
live action plays and where they those look bad.
dude. They've had like crossovers with Vanilla's Ice
Yeah, yeah.
and their live action movies before the CGI live action, like their actual live
Go
the
Ninja, go Ninja,
Ninja
go.
Go. Look, dude, the first Turtles movie and what's it? Return to Japan or something like that. I think it was the third one. I
Yeah,
like those ones. I didn't like the second one. I like the first one and I like the third one.
and the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'm definitely excited to see where they're gonna go with this one. And I mean, like the difference is that now, like, also, can people stop saying this thing of "you guys destroyed or raped my childhood"? It's like, well, first off, that's offensive because that stuff happens for real
Yeah.
to real people. And I'm pretty sure if they had the choice, they would choose their childhood over their bodies. And so
Yeah.
let's stop using that term, please. One, two. Even if it's bad, it won't sink the turtle franchise. Like if Michael Bay couldn't destroy the turtles, nothing could destroy the turtle.
I found good in those Michael Bay movies as well with the turtles.
No, there was some good stuff in them. I just didn't like that the first one was basically an April O'Neil movie where
Yeah.
she defeats Shredder at the end. Because I was just like, what?
Shredder.
Yeah, and then also the other thing was I didn't like about them was is that they were these giants. Like I know they're supposed to be mutants, but if they're supposed to be ninjas, they can't hide from anybody at that size.
Classically in the comics, in the stories, in the animated shows, the turtles are all shorter than people.
Yeah.
They
So
yeah.
yeah, so like them being, I mean, I know it's akin to the 80s because in the 80s cartoons they were giants. So
Yeah.
I know that's
No,
basically what
in
they
the
based it
80s, in
on.
the classic cartoons, they were short.
Oh, they were short. I
Yeah,
thought they were big.
even if you check out if you YouTube like Turtles Forever, the based on that movie, the
Yeah.
Turtles Forever movie, and they have the different versions of the turtles together. You'll see that the classic turtles, the 80s turtles, are even shorter than those versions of them, than the 2003 turtles.
Oh. So why were they so big in the
Because
in the
Michael Bay
movie?
wanted them to be giant monsters, giant mutant monsters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the
You're
turtles are
right. I'm looking at them now. They were tiny.
they're tiny. They were always smaller than people.
Oh,
No, I mean
man,
than the average person.
man, why were they so okay, but anyway. No, even the second movie though, the only thing I'll never forgive it for is the way they use Shredder. Oh my gosh, Shredder was wasted in that movie.
And it's like Krang comes to Shredder, never met him before, doesn't even really give him an offer. He just goes like, "You work for me now." Wait, I can't do the burp thing, but yeah,
Yeah. And then Shredder's just like, okay.
yeah, sure, all right.
Also, I did not like Casey Jones in that movie. That the era actor is pretty cool, but
What I can't understand is that in the Arrow series, he does it right. Just take Oliver, you know, and bring him in there, use the same character, and then be Casey. Why did you try and be funny? Why were you like
uh,
he was like a whiny kid? No, I want to be a big policeman when I'm older. Like I want to be a cop. Like dude, like
and that bar intimidation scene where he's intimidating that dude at the bar, I was just like, who would be scared of this?
exactly.
Oh man, Turtle's power, turtle power. um,
So,
so that brings us to our artist spot. Man, it was so cool to talk turtles, man. I need to find more turtles people because I'm
me
like the
too.
only turtle
Yeah, I don't
person
think
I know.
everyone. I think people who haven't like watched it or don't understand don't get it. They think it's just as
That and Power Rangers actually.
yeah.
I'm also getting back into Power Rangers. And I know it was hokey, but it's fun. Like
I'm
I like the Power
I'm
Rangers.
actually getting curious with the Power Rangers comics. I haven't read any of them, but they look
Oh, they're
good.
really good.
They
They're
look
really good.
good, and there's some storylines. And sorry, the dude who plays the Green Ranger, the actual actor, he loves the property. So he's always up for fan art and gigs and promotional stuff. And
Yeah.
I like
Like
the idea that yeah,
oh sorry, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
like the
Sorry, go
idea
ahead.
because he's been the White Ranger, he's been the Green Ranger, he's taken over the Red Ranger mantle. So they like literally got this one scene of him where he's like sitting on like a throne with the other Power Rangers defeated, and he's like a mix of his different versions of the character throughout time. And apparently there's a comic book storyline about that where he's like the big villain and he
Yeah,
fights.
I was gonna tell you about that. So basically, they call him Lord Dracon. I think
Okay,
that's the name. So basically, what happens is that in an alternate timeline, was this
Tommy.
Rita managed to corrupt his mind enough, and Zordon couldn't save him. So he
Okay,
becomes full on evil, and then he
no.
takes over the whole Power Ranger Corps. And there was even a trailer with Jason David Frank. I think that's his,
Yeah,
his
yeah, I think that's his name. That's the Green Ranger.
yeah,
Yeah,
there was even a trailer where they were doing the trailer for the comic, and they did it with him where he's in the Lord Dracon costume, and he's
yeah,
just looking over the entire landscape as he like rules the world, because now the Power Rangers are this underground guerrilla force trying to stop him, and because he knows everything about the Power Rangers, it becomes so difficult that they got to go to an alternate universe and bring that universe's Power Rangers this
to
side
this side.
to help.
Dude,
And the funny thing is, at the time,
right there. Perfect movie plot right there.
Tommy is the leader of the Power Rangers, so he's basically having to
Fighting
fight the
himself.
reflection of himself.
See, that's dope. Oh, is that where Tommy becomes the Red Ranger? Or is he still green and the
I
leader?
think he's still Green Ranger at the time.
Because there is a
I think
point.
he's
That,
still he's still fresh off of the brain wipe
oh, yeah.
of Rita. He's still off the fresh of the brain wipe of Rita. So that's and then that makes it even interesting because now evil Tommy
Yeah.
starts putting it in Tommy's head that he's like, are you really a good guy? Because you were never actually part of the Power Rangers. You were
You're not
sent
even
there to
really
destroy them.
real. You're a clone.
Yeah,
You
something
were a special party monster.
Yeah, something like that. That was crazy. So I did like what they did with that. So yeah, that was yeah, the Power Rangers has a lot of good stuff to mine
There's
if they
some
want to
good
mine
lore.
it.
Look, I'd like to keep it like down to Morphin Power Rangers, to Mighty
Yeah,
Morphin. The
yeah.
other stuff is too complex and like I
No, hey, it gets crazy. I fell off after Mighty Morphin, honestly.
there's a point at some point where the Power Rangers have trains.
Yeah. And there's also a point where the Red Ranger is an android at some
Yeah,
stage.
yeah, yeah. Or was it the white? Was it the
No, it
red?
was the red. It was the red Power Ranger. It was like Power Rangers Power Grid or something
Is
like
it
that.
there's one that's on TV currently or on satellite TV currently where they're like cowboys or something like that. One of them's a robot. I think
I don't know.
The
I don't
Black
know about that
Ranger's a
one.
robot or something like that.
I don't know about that one. You're like I think the last thing Power Rangers related that I did really check out outside of the comics was the movie,
Yeah,
the 2017 movie, which I did enjoy a lot.
me
I thought it
too.
was pretty good.
Yeah,
So yeah, Power Rangers, but apparently they are coming back. I guess maybe we could also make that for the docket next week when we talk about some stuff. I
yeah.
could
I'll
get
touch
some
on
Power
some
Rangers
Power
news and
Rangers.
see what's going on with Power Rangers. All right, so that brings us to our artist spot. And for me today, my artist spot, this is a very, very cool person. She's been really, really nice to me. She actually won the Triggerfish competition aside someone else that we know. And very excited for her on that. Her name, I think it's Jinray Proxy. I think it's Jinray Proxy because it's spelled GINRAE
Is this on
dash
Insta?
Proxy. Yeah, she's on Insta. So she's a South African artist that she actually really did a cool piece for me for free. I don't know why, but she did a really cool piece for me where she designed one of my characters, Vendetta, which is this really cool military, paramilitary chick that's going to be in my universe, and she did a design for that for free, and like she's really really nice. She gives a lot of cool advice. She's a great storyboarder as well, and she does a lot of cool animatics. Like I really love her work, and she's very very fantastic. Jinray Proxy, please
Can
go
you
check
can you
her
spell
out.
that for me again? I'm trying to find the. Maybe I know her.
Uh, GIN.
Okay.
Let me see her Instagram. Maybe it's spelled differently on Instagram. So
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
oh yeah yeah. So GINARAE and then Proxy.
Okay, great.
I think her name is Gina. It might be Gina. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
I'll be honest, I don't know of her, so thanks so much for the link. I'll check out this stuff.
Yeah, she's a South African, but I think she's in Ireland now,
They say
or
she's living in
she's both.
London.
Oh yeah, somewhere there.
Okay, great.
Yeah, she's been very nice to me, and she gave me a really cool free piece. I'm about to repost it as well
Okay,
because
sweet.
I posted it a while back, but I'm about to repost it, and the colors that she did was fantastic.
All right, I'm gonna shout out to my sister, my other little sister. We worked together for a while. Ash Asim. She's also
Okay,
she's also a great artist. She goes by the Instagram Monica Smash Squash. So
Monica Smash. Let me see. Can I find her?
S M
Monica.
SMASHE underscore squash.
Okay, so wait, is it Monica?
No, 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 not I said her Monica, her
Oh,
name, her.
oh, I thought it was actually Monica.
No, it's Smash Squash. SMASHE.
Okay, SHE. Oh, Smash Swatch. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. Found her.
So she's dope.
Should sing.
I
Okay.
think I think she's worked as a comic book artist for a long time. Does colors, does inks, does illustrations. Pretty good at what she does. Check out her stuff.
It's got some really good stuff here.
Oh
Jeez.
yeah,
All right. Yeah, I think I just found her. Okay, I didn't know about her, so yeah. Shouts out to us promoting women.
yeah, dude. We need to. We need to. They do the most. They do the best.
Ah, man. And that brings us to the end of our show. I want to say thank you so much to everybody from watching. Yeah, yeah, we're going to just keep doing that now.
Yeah.
YouTube, do not flag this at violence.
Until you
It's
get
do not flag this
demonetized.
at violence, YouTube. Don't. It's just handguns. It
It's
doesn't shoot real
Charlie's
bullets.
Angel. Yo, men of color aren't allowed to do this, dude.
Yes. Oh my gosh. They've been claiming me as copyright. I wonder if that's part of it. But anyway, anyway, we'll see you all in another episode of Geek Mense Shoot the Shit. But for now, we gotta say peace. Peace, everybody.
Thanks
Peace.
so much, guys. Catch you soon.